Chapter 885. Ning Qing understood that this skeleton was shocked. Before entering the Grand Essence Mystic Realm, not to mention 2 Bodhi Cauldron Heaven buds, even a single Bodhi Cauldron Heaven bud leaf would have been an unattainable treasure for him. Previously, he had found more than 100 Bodhi Cauldron Heaven buds in the Divine Herb Garden guarded by the human-faced poison centipede. This skeleton's bones emitted a golden glow. Clearly, like him, it was a top-notch body refinement expert. A single Bodhi Cauldron Heaven sprout might not be able to perfectly restore a top-notch body tempering expert's flesh and blood. Moreover, Ning Qing felt that this person was not a cunning person and would never go back on his word after restoring his corporeal body. Ning Qing was a bit more generous, and took out 2 of them at once. He wanted to ask this skeleton for a favor. Ning Qing hadn't been trapped in the Grand Essence Lost Stone Forest for a day or 2. Therefore, he naturally knew about the horrors of this place. Even if he could cultivate here for 600,000 years, it wouldn't matter. He didn't want to waste this time. This skeleton had lived here for tens of thousands of years, so it should be true that it had a way to get out. Secondly, he didn't have a body-forging cultivation method after reaching the starry sky body. Therefore, he wanted to consult this skeleton in front of him. The skeleton began to use the things that Ning Qing had given it to restore its essence, blood and flesh. Ning Qing did not continue to search around in vain, but rather waited on the side. A few days later, Ning Qing saw the skeletal male cultivator come out of his temporary immortal cave. He also put away his immortal cave and came out. At this moment, the skeletal male cultivator's body already had flesh and blood on it. Although he looked very thin and weak, to the point that he could be described as a bag of bones, he was no longer just a skeleton like before. Although Qi Shixingsing's aura was a little weak, Ning Qing could tell that once he recovered, he would also become a powerhouse. Many thanks for this friend's sincere help. My name is Qi Shixingsing, and I used to be an inner sect disciple of the profound Moon Spirit Gate. The male cultivator bowed to Ning Qing as soon as he came up, his eyes filled with the joy of escaping from death. Ning Qing had heard of the profound Moon Spirit Gate, one of the top 10 sects in the Grand Essence domain. But this Qi Shixingsing's name sounded a bit weird. Ning Qing had seen a lot of strange things, as such he did not care about the name. Although he was slightly surprised, he still cupped his fists and spoke, "My name is Ning Qing, I was able to save Brother Qi by chance. After Brother Qi recovers, I'll still need to rely on Brother Qi's help." Ning Qing did not conceal it this time, and spoke out his real name. Qi Shixingsing saw Ning Qing's doubts and spoke with a smile, "When I was born, I had 13 starlights on my forehead. When I opened my eyes, these 13 stars entered my body, and my father gave me this name. Brother Ning, did you come to the Grand Essence Lost Stone Forest specifically? Making a special trip here?" Ning Qing waved his hand and spoke, "No, I was chased by a human-faced poison centipede and fled here." Qi Shixingsing looked at Ning Qing in shock. "Did you find Pil Sage Min Kong's medicine garden?" Pil Sage Min Kong's medicine garden is guarded by a human-faced poison centipede. That human-faced poison centipede's cultivation has long since surpassed Dao sculpting experts. How did you escape? Without waiting for Ning Qing to answer, Qi Shixingsing's eyes lit up. "No wonder you can take out 2 Bodhi Cauldron Heaven buds. It turns out you found Pil Sage Min Kong's medicine garden." Pil Sage Min Kong's medicine garden? Ning Qing asked in doubt. Qi Shixingsing nodded, "Yes, if it's guarded by a human-faced poison centipede, then it must be Pil Sage Min Kong's medicine garden. Pil Sage Min Kong is a top-grade Dao Essence Pil Sage. He had a transcendent status in the Grand Essence realm, and no one disrespected him. It's just that the growth of the divine grasses in the Grand Essence realm is slow, and it has become increasingly insufficient for his alchemy needs. Moreover, the Grand Essence Mystic realm is very suitable for the growth of divine grasses. Pil Sage Min Kong destroyed his own cultivation and entered the Grand Essence Mystic realm with his companion beast, human-faced poison centipede. I heard that he wanted to cultivate divine grasses for alchemy. But after he entered the Grand Essence mystic realm, there was no news of him. Brother Ning, since you said that you met a human-faced poison centipede, then it must be Pill Sage Min Kong's medicine garden. Ning Qing couldn't help but sigh in his heart. There really were all kinds of people in this world. There was actually someone like Pill Sage Min Kong who destroyed his own cultivation just to come in and cultivate divine grasses. If it were him, he would never do such a thing. From the looks of it, those two poison centipedes should be the descendants of the poison centipede that chased after him. Ning Qing guessed that even Qi Shixingsing didn't know about it. Seeing Ning Cheng's speechless look, Qi Shixingsing spoke up. Some people say that Pill Sage Min Kong wanted to open up the third step of Tao confirming from the Tao of alchemy. But maybe he failed. Hearing this, Ning Cheng's spirit perked up and he quickly asked, Brother Qi, is there really a third step in Tao confirming? Qi Shixingsing looked at Ning Cheng in doubt and asked, Brother Ning, with your ability, you should be a disciple of a big sect, right? Didn't your master teach you anything in this regard? Ning Cheng had only reported his name before and didn't mention his sect. Qi Shixingsing thought that Ning Cheng didn't want to say it, so he didn't ask. He never thought that Ning Cheng, a cultivator who could escape the pursuit of the human-faced poison centipede, was a rogue cultivator. Ning Cheng smiled, I'm a rogue cultivator, so no one taught me this kind of thing. Qi Shixingsing froze for a moment, then sighed and said, no wonder. The third step of Tao confirming definitely exists. But since the Grand Essence realm's laws shattered, no one can take the third step. So I can only tell you about the existence of the third step. If you want to take the third step, you must go to the Grand Change realm or have a world with a complete set of laws like the Grand Change realm. I heard that the strongest cultivation in the Grand Essence realm is Tao unification. How powerful is Tao unification? Ning Cheng finally found someone to ask about these things. Naturally, he wanted to ask all the questions he had. Tao unification? Qi Shixingsing sighed and said, in fact, some Tao unification isn't as powerful as you think. There are thousands of paths to Tao unification. Although there are thousands of paths to Tao unification, there aren't many cultivators in the Grand Essence realm who can take the most powerful path to Tao unification. I'd like to hear the details. Ning Cheng had already forgotten that he should go out at this time. Instead, he took out a stone stool and placed it next to Qi Shixingsing. Then, he took out another stone stool and sat down. Qi Shixingsing understood the difficulties of being a rogue cultivator. Therefore, it was normal for Ning Cheng to not know about these things. After sitting down, he said, Brother Ning, let me explain it to you briefly. If we can get out of the Lost Stone Forest this time, I would like to invite you to my Profound Moon Spirit Gate Spirit Scroll Pavilion to read the ancient scrolls. This promise was a huge favor to Ning Cheng. The most important place in a sect was the Spirit Scroll Pavilion. For Qi Shixingsing to make such a promise, on the one hand, it meant that his status wasn't ordinary. On the other hand, it showed that he truly felt grateful to Ning Cheng. Stopping Ning Cheng from expressing his gratitude, Qi Shixingsing continued, I said that Tao unification isn't necessarily as powerful as you think. It's not that Tao unification isn't powerful, but that there are too many paths to Tao unification. Our most common paths to Tao unification include body to world Tao, body to artifact Tao, body to false Tao and so on. My father told me that these Tao unification cultivators aren't the strongest Tao unification cultivators. Seeing that Ning Cheng wanted to ask, Qi Shixingsing waved his hand, Brother Ning, you don't have to ask me. I don't know anything about the strongest Tao unification, and neither does my father. I can only tell you about the most common Tao unification methods in the Grand Essence realm. Body to world Tao is the most common method, and it's also the most powerful method after reaching Tao unification. This is body to Tao, coexisting with the boundary. Anyone in the boundary where one reaches Tao unification is just an ant. However, leaving the Tao unification realm isn't impossible, but it's extremely difficult. Body to artifact Tao is something only those with top-grade innate treasures can do. This kind of powerhouse fuses their Tao sense with innate treasures and uses the power of innate treasures to reach the peak of Tao seeking. Compared to body to world Tao, this kind of powerhouse can go anywhere and has more freedom. However, they need to cut off their emotions and fuse their Tao sense with innate treasures. Ning Qing sighed and said, "What's the difference between this and an artifact spirit?" Qi Shizingxing smiled, "It's completely different from an artifact spirit. Tao unification cultivators only use innate treasures to endow their Tao sense, not an artifact spirit. As for body to false Tao, my father said that it doesn't belong to Tao unification at all. Instead, some powerhouses use a method to approach Tao unification. It's equivalent to a half-step Tao unification Holy Emperor. Although it's stronger than primordial chaos, it can't compare to a true Tao unification powerhouse." Ning Qing shook his head. None of these three methods of Tao unification were what he wanted. Qi Shizingxing saw Ning Qing shaking his head and said with a smile, "We're still 108,000 miles away from Tao unification. Don't think too much about it." Ning Qing put these things aside and asked, "Brother Qi, you asked me if I came here specifically for this. Is there someone else who came here specifically for this purpose?" Qi Shizingxing sighed and said, "I came here specifically for this purpose. A cultivator's strength, how far this cultivator can go after reaching Tao confirming, and even whether they can reach Tao confirming, in addition to the understanding of Tao and spirit essence conversion, the most important factor is the strength of one's sea of consciousness and the condensing of one's spiritual consciousness." Ning Qing agreed with this point. "Yes, I agree with Brother Qi's words." Ning Qing could surpass others in the same realm, not only because of his powerful cultivation method and condensed celestial essence, but also because of his powerful sea of consciousness. Moreover, the stronger one's sea of consciousness, the more powerful one's insight into Tao laws and spirit techniques. Many powerful sects know that the Grand Essence Lost Stone Forest has a method to condense one's spiritual consciousness and strengthen one's sea of consciousness. However, no one knows what it is. Over the years, I don't know how many people have entered the Grand Essence Lost Stone Forest, but no one could come out. Even if someone found a way out, they could only fall in this place. At this point, Qi Shizingxing sighed again, feeling a little sad. Although Ning Qing had saved him, he still didn't know if he could get out. Is there a way to condense one's spiritual consciousness here? Why haven't I heard of it? Ning Qing asked in surprise. Qi Shizingxing gave an "th" sound. The Grand Essence Lost Stone Forest was originally called the Grand Essence Lost Forest. It means that anyone who enters this place will get lost and eventually die. However, few people who know about this place are willing to come here. Moreover, this place is very far from the teleportation array. Even if an eternal cultivator flies fast, it would take them 3 or 4 months to come here. Moreover, it would also take them 3 or 4 months to go back. Therefore, most cultivators don't have the time to come here. Similarly, not many rogue cultivators know about this place. Chapter 886. Ning Qing nodded. Qi Shizingxing's words were true. Not everyone had a starry sky wheel. Ning Qing had used the starry sky wheel to fly for 2 months. If it were any other flight-type weapon, it wouldn't be surprising for him to reach this place in 3 or 4 months. I'm at the full circle of the eternal realm and about to enter the Tao sculpting realm. I didn't come to the Grand Essence mystic realm to participate in the Grand Essence Great Meet. I came here to find a way to condense my spiritual consciousness and expand my sea of consciousness. But no matter how well prepared I was, I almost died in the Grand Essence Lost Stone Forest. If I weren't a body-forging cultivator, maybe I wouldn't have survived until today. Ning Qing interjected in doubt, Brother Qi, you can't get out of this place. At most, you can't cultivate. As long as you have some spirit crystals or medicinal pills, you shouldn't die, right? Qi Shizingxing shook his head, you'll understand what's going on after staying here for a few months. Even if your sea of consciousness grew stronger, you would still fall into hallucinations after a month. You would always feel weak, and you would constantly take out all kinds of cultivation resources to arrange spiritual gathering arrays to absorb them for cultivation. But you wouldn't be able to cultivate for a long time. At most, in half a day, you would throw everything away and run to another place. Along the way, you might even fight against monsters condensed from non-existent yin qi. Moreover, you can't absorb the spiritual qi in this place. You might even throw out spirit crystals to arrange spiritual gathering arrays during the fight. Ning Qing frowned. If what Qi Shixingsing said was true, then no one could survive in this place for a long time. Qi Shixingsing sighed, I've struggled in this place for tens of thousands of years and can barely resist some of the illusions. But you have to be careful. After a while, you will definitely be affected. Therefore, we have to leave this place before you get affected. How do we leave? Ning Qing took in a deep breath. He didn't think that Qi Shixingsing was lying to him. Qi Shixingsing's expression also turned solemn. He said in a deep voice, during the tens of thousands of years I wandered in the lost stone forest, I found a jade strip on one of the fallen cultivators. The jade strip said that this lost stone forest contained divine chalcedony, which can be refined into spirit essence pills by adding some divine grasses. The spirit essence pill was a pill that could increase one's divine sense and expand one's sea of wisdom. Not only could this pill expand one's sea of wisdom, it could also prevent cultivators from getting lost in the lost stone forest. The most frightening thing in the lost stone forest is getting lost. Once we don't get lost, we will eventually be able to find a way out with our strength. Then how did you wander around for tens of thousands of years? Ning Qing asked in a deep voice. The dry skin on Qi Shixingsing's face twitched a few times before he slowly said, that's not a life for humans. Every month, I would fall into madness. Then, in my madness, I used up all my strength and consciousness, and finally fainted. Again and again, as if there was no end to it. My strong body allowed me to survive this terrible torture. And when I woke up, all my previous deductions about the way out of the lost stone forest would be blurred, and then I would start again. In the end, I knew there was no point in going on. I no longer tried to deduce the way out. Instead, I repeatedly memorized the important information, such as the divine chalcedony, the spirit essence pill, and the hallucination. Why don't you use a jade strip to carve these things down? Just like the jade strip you used to get the news about the spirit essence pill? Ning Qing asked in doubt. Qi Shixingsing shook his head, try carving a jade strip, and you'll know why. Ning Qing immediately took out a jade strip and engraved Qi Shixingsing's words on it. But soon, he found something wrong. The things he engraved at the beginning had disappeared. He couldn't even engrave jade strips in this place. I suspect that the jade strip I obtained was brought in by that cultivator from the outside. Moreover, that cultivator was an alchemist. He should have come in to look for divine chalcedony. But I guess he couldn't find it and ended up dying in the lost stone forest. Qi Shixingsing didn't care about Ning Qing's words and put away the jade strip. He already knew that Ning Qing couldn't engrave anything in this place. Grand Essence Lost Stone Forest, Divine Chalcedony, Spirit Essence Pill, Pill Sage Min Kong, Spiritual Medicine Garden. These irrelevant things appeared in Ning Qing's mind for no reason. He suddenly thought of Pill Sage Min Kong. Did he destroy his cultivation to recondense his spiritual consciousness and open a new sea of consciousness? If that was the case, did Pill Sage Min Kong also die in the Grand Essence Lost Stone Forest? Qi Shixingsing didn't know that Ning Qing's thoughts had changed so quickly. He spoke out his thoughts, none of us are pill deities, and we don't have pill recipes. But I have a way. That is, we can go all out to find divine chalcedony. I don't need divine chalcedony to have any effect before we start refining pills. As long as divine chalcedony can keep us from getting lost in this place, we can find a way to get out. Ning Cheng wanted to say that he was a Tao sculpting pill deity. But thinking about the spirit essence pill, he guessed that a newly advanced Tao sculpting pill like him wouldn't be able to refine it. Not to mention, he didn't even have a pill recipe. What if we still can't find divine chalcedony after getting lost? Ning Cheng asked. Qi Shizingxing sighed again, then we have to wait until we wake up and start again. Maybe in the end, you'll end up like me, turning into a skeleton and waiting for the people behind to save you. Because every time you wake up, you'll feel like you've been gnawed on by countless things. Not only would you lose a lot of weight, but the yin qi in your sea of consciousness would also increase a lot. After you wake up, the first thing you need to do is to expel the yin qi. Ning Cheng brought out a long spear and pointed it at a huge stone peak in front of him. I'll flatten all the stone peaks around us first. That way, I can broaden my horizons. Don't do that. Before Ning Cheng could finish, Qi Shizingxing stopped Ning Cheng. These stone peaks don't have divine chalcedony. Moreover, once you do that, you'll immediately get lost. You won't even wait for the stone peaks to completely shatter. Do you have a better way? And how do you know that these stone peaks don't have divine chalcedony? Ning Cheng looked at Qi Shizingxing and asked. Qi Shizingxing shook his head. In the beginning, I used a secret technique to break through a few small stone peaks. But I found no divine chalcedony in them. Moreover, if I attack the stone peaks, I'll fall into a stronger illusion and lose myself for a longer time. My method is the same as before, to slowly search for divine chalcedony inside. As he spoke, Qi Shizingxing felt a little lacking in confidence. He had been searching for tens of thousands of years. Not to mention divine chalcedony, he couldn't even find a drop of water. When Ning Cheng saw Qi Shizingxing's expression, he understood that he didn't have the confidence. Besides, Ning Cheng had been wandering around this place for a few days and knew that it didn't make any sense to continue like this. Sooner or later, he would have to break through these stone peaks. Therefore, he might as well attack while he was still energetic. Brother Qi, I have to give it a try. Please let me go first. If I don't try these stone peaks, I won't be able to calm down and slowly search for divine chalcedony. Qi Shizingxing, on seeing Ning Cheng's firm tone, knew that he couldn't stop Ning Cheng. Therefore, he said, wait a minute. I'll make myself faint first. Then you can start, lest you treat me as an opponent. After saying that, he ran back to his previous cave and lay down. Then, he sealed off all his senses in an instant. It was almost the same as fainting. Ning Cheng didn't care about Qi Shizingxing. He took a deep breath, brought out a long spear, and aimed at one of the stone peaks hundreds of feet high. As his celestial essence surged, the surrounding space gave off a buzzing sound. Seeing a force tearing through the surrounding space and about to fall on the stone peak, Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness suddenly paused. Even his sea of consciousness had a shadow cast over it. It felt as if something had resonated with his sea of consciousness, affecting his sea of consciousness. An inexhaustible amount of yin qi suddenly rolled up from the ground, forming one monstrous beast after another that rushed towards Ning Cheng. A powerful suppressive force came over, and Ning Cheng's celestial essence power suddenly weakened. It felt as if it had turned into a blade of grass caressing the stone peak. Because of Qi Shizingxing's reminder, Ning Cheng had already prepared himself. Therefore, when the endless yin qi swept up from the ground and turned into yin qi demonic beasts, Ning Cheng treated it as an illusion. Ning Cheng firmly guarded his sea of consciousness and even actively let the mysterious yellow origin aura scour his sea of consciousness, fearing that he would fall into an illusion. But to Ning Cheng's horror, no matter how much the mysterious yellow origin aura scoured his sea of consciousness, his sea of consciousness still grew dimmer and dimmer. At the same time, the attacks from the yin demons grew stronger and stronger. If not for his sea of consciousness being so powerful, he might have already fallen into a frenzied counterattack. This feeling made him want to bring out all kinds of spirit techniques to destroy these yin demons. However, he didn't feel the illusion of arranging a spiritual gathering array like Qi Shizhengxing had said. Most likely, it was because he could absorb the spirit Qi in this place and his starry skies sea of consciousness. Ning Cheng shot out one time wheel after another. This illusion felt too real, so real that Ning Cheng didn't dare to stop his counterattack. The Yin demons seemed endless. Even if the time wheels killed them, the Yin demons would still keep coming in. Ning Cheng's sea of consciousness grew more and more sluggish, and his sea of consciousness turned even dimmer. It felt as if many foreign enemies had invaded his sea of consciousness. Not only that, but his celestial essence was also on the verge of exhaustion. No, Ning Cheng suddenly reacted. This wasn't all an illusion. Although it was an illusion, these Yin demons were definitely real. Not to mention that he had been using the mysterious yellow origin aura to scour his sea of consciousness, he could already feel the cold Yin aura as soon as he entered this place. Ning Cheng finally understood how those bones came to be. Once a cultivator suffered a joint attack from an illusion and reality, they would eventually fall into a coma. At that time, these Yin demons would then devour the flesh and blood of the unconscious cultivator. Because Qi Shizhengxing was a body-forging cultivator, these Yin demons couldn't easily devour his flesh and blood, which allowed him to persist for so many years. Therefore, when the Yin demons attacked, his sea of consciousness would feel a resonance, which meant that it was indeed an illusion. However, Ning Cheng felt even more sure that these Yin demons weren't illusions. After thinking about this, Ning Cheng raised his hand and grabbed the Seven Bridges Realm book. At the same time, he brought out the Seven Bridges Realm book and activated the first spirit technique, the Bridge of Coping. The blurry stone steel of the first bridge appeared once again, and a pale white stone arch bridge, which was much more blurry than the one he used to deal with the human-faced poison centipede, slowly emerged. This time, Ning Cheng didn't burn his essence blood. Although these Yin demons had a lot of them, their strength couldn't compare to the human-faced poison centipede. As soon as the first bridge of coping came out, the Yin wind howled, and the blurry blood river surged. The Yin demons formed from Yin Qi, like moths in the face of a flame, frantically rushed towards the first bridge of coping. A faint voice once again emerged from the first bridge of coping: no return in life, no retreat in death. Once you enter the bridge of coping, you will never return. No hope, no reincarnation, only the blood river to wash away your sins. As this voice emerged, the Yin demons formed from Yin Qi rushed up even more crazily. At this time, Ning Cheng didn't even need to stimulate his celestial essence and spiritual consciousness. The first bridge of coping automatically became clear. The more Yin demon auras rushed into it, the clearer the first bridge of coping became. Looking at the countless Yin demons in front of him, knowing that they would die if they rushed in, Ning Cheng muttered to himself, so the Seven Bridges spirit technique is condensed in this way. Chapter 887. Ning Cheng looked at the first bridge with joy as it grew clearer and clearer. At the same time, he fantasized about the second bridge, the third bridge. If all 5 bridges solidified, even if he met that poison centipede again, he could easily escape. But a fantasy was a fantasy after all. At the critical moment when the first bridge solidified, the endless Yin demons disappeared without a trace, and the solidification of the first bridge stopped. The surrounding illusions disappeared, and the Yin Qi also dissipated. The stone forest remained a stone forest, and Qi Shizhengxing was still unconscious in the cave in the distance. Ning Cheng frowned slightly. If there were no Yin demons formed from the Yin Qi, it meant that his first bridge of coping couldn't truly solidify. Although Ning Cheng felt somewhat unwilling, he didn't put away the first bridge of coping. Instead, he still aimed his long spear at the previous stone peak. It contained the same violent celestial essence and the same violent power. The only difference was that when the long spear struck the stone peak, no illusions appeared, and no Yin Qi blocked it. Boom! With a loud noise, Ning Cheng's spear blasted the stone peak into pieces. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness swept through the fragments of the stone peak that he had smashed apart, but other than the gravel, there was nothing else. Not to mention divine chalcedony, he couldn't even find a trace of spirit qi. Putting away the Seven Bridges Realm book, Ning Cheng walked to a 1,000-foot-high stone peak and shot out another spear. Sure enough, the yin qi suddenly rolled up again, and Ning Cheng's long spear suddenly stopped. This time, Ning Cheng was prepared. Before his sea of consciousness could be affected, he brought out the first bridge of coping. The endless yin qi couldn't form any powerful yin demons at all. Instead, the first bridge of coping absorbed the yin demons as soon as they formed. This time, it wasn't the yin demons that rushed to the first bridge of coping. Instead, the first bridge of coping actively absorbed the yin demons and the surrounding yin qi. After absorbing the endless yin qi again, the first bridge of coping finally solidified. As the pale white stone bridge spread out, Ning Cheng's thoughts filled with the idea of controlling everything. Ning Cheng took in a deep breath and was about to step onto the bridge of coping to see if he could control this spirit technique. Before he could even take a step forward, the surging yin qi had already dissipated completely. What's going on? The first bridge of helplessness's absorption time was even shorter than the last time. Not long after it started, the yin qi and yin demons disappeared. Although he didn't understand what was going on, Ning Cheng still used his spear to shatter the 1,000-foot-tall stone peak. However, the stone peak still didn't contain any divine chalcedony. Could it be that every Shifeng only had this little amount of yin qi? Ning Cheng did not stop, and once again shot out his spear towards a several hundred feet high stone peak. This time, Ning Cheng was even more disappointed. After Ning Cheng smashed apart the several hundred feet high stone peak, not even a trace of yin qi came out. An hour later, Ning Cheng finally understood what was going on. Only when he blasted away the taller stone peak would he be able to unleash a torrent of yin energy. After he destroyed the 1,000-feet-tall stone peak, there was no longer any yin qi in the stone peaks below the 1,000-feet-tall one. He could only destroy the stone peaks that were taller than that. Even so, the amount of yin qi he could produce was getting smaller and smaller. Ning Cheng's spear strike had already broken through a 3,000 feet tall stone peak, but it did not cause any yin qi to roll out, as such he knew that it would not make any sense for him to continue. This place definitely had a yin qi illusory array arranged by a superpowerful array Dao master. Since there was no yin qi rolling out, it most likely prevented people like him from taking advantage of it. Ning Cheng shook his head and prepared to put away his spear and wake up Qi Shizingsing. Without the illusory array, it wouldn't be difficult for him and Qi Shizingsing to leave the lost stone forest. A hint of fragrance attracted Ning Cheng's attention. His spiritual consciousness swept through the 3,000 feet tall stone peak he had just destroyed and immediately found the source of the fragrance. The thing that gave off the fragrance was a black stone the size of an egg. Ning Cheng took a step forward and picked up the black stone. It felt soft to the touch, just like a soft-shelled egg. An extremely comfortable feeling permeated into his sea of consciousness, causing his spiritual consciousness to cool down a bit. This must be divine chalcedony, Ning Cheng thought as he looked at the soft thing in his palm in surprise. Previously, he had destroyed dozens of mountain peaks, but he didn't find any divine chalcedony. He didn't expect to find divine chalcedony when he thought that it wasn't in the stone peaks. Ning Cheng took out a jade box and carefully put away the spiritual consciousness essence before starting to bombard the stone peaks. Over the next 2 days, Ning Cheng selectively blasted through thousands of stone peaks. Apart from the 3,000 feet tall stone peak, which contained a piece of divine chalcedony, he didn't find any more divine chalcedony in the stone peaks. Among them, he had also blasted through 3,000 feet tall stone peaks, but he still didn't find any divine chalcedony. Ning Cheng shook his head. It seemed that this divine chalcedony wasn't something that could be obtained easily. He decided to check if Qi Shizingsing had woken up and find a way to leave this place together. "Brother Ning, you didn't lose yourself?" Ning Cheng had just turned his head when Qi Shizengxing walked over and looked at Ning Cheng in surprise. But before Ning Cheng could speak, he looked around Ning Cheng in shock. "You've blasted through so many stone peaks. How come you didn't lose yourself?" Ning Cheng didn't bother to answer him. He raised his spear and smashed it down before saying, "Look, no matter how many stone peaks I destroy, it doesn't affect me." He didn't want to reveal the 7 Bridges spirit technique. Although Qi Shizengxing was a good person, he had just met him. Once the 7 Bridges spirit technique was revealed, who knew how many people would covet it? Ning Cheng's words suddenly paused. He saw a small black mass in the middle of the shattered stone peaks. A faint fragrance spread out, and Ning Cheng recognized it at a glance. It was the same thing he had put away before, divine chalcedony. Ignoring Qi Shizengxing, Ning Cheng rushed up and grabbed the piece of divine chalcedony in his hand again. This piece of divine chalcedony was a bit smaller than the previous one. It also had a black mass and looked soft. "Brother Ning, this. Qi Shizengxing also hurriedly walked up to Ning Cheng and pointed at the black soft stone in Ning Cheng's hand. After a long time, he finally managed to squeeze out a sentence, "Is this divine chalcedony?" Ning Cheng smiled and put the piece of divine chalcedony in his hand into Qi Shizengxing's hand. "Congratulations, you got it right. This is divine chalcedony. To tell you the truth, divine chalcedony is in these stone peaks. Some of these stone peaks have it, and some don't. I've smashed thousands of stone peaks, but I only got 2. Ning Cheng's words paused again. As he spoke, his spiritual consciousness covered the pile of stone peaks he had smashed. When he looked at the thousands of stone peaks again, he felt something wrong. He was a spirit array master and had a thorough understanding of array formations. As his spiritual consciousness covered the stone peaks he had smashed, he found that the positions of the 2 stone peaks where he had obtained the divine chalcedony looked very strange. It seemed to be similar to the location of the psychedelic array foundation, but also somewhat different. "Brother Ning, are you okay?" Seeing Ning Cheng in a daze, Qi Shizengxing quickly asked. Ning Cheng waved his hand and said to Qi Shizengxing, "I'm going to stay here and study the array foundation in the Lost Stone Forest. You continue to smash the stone peaks. Once you find the divine chalcedony, put a mark on the spot and tell me." Qi Shizengxing opened his mouth and wanted to persuade Ning Cheng not to do such useless work. He was also proficient in array formations. Yet, he couldn't find the array foundation for tens of thousands of years. Yet, Ning Cheng said that he wanted to study the array foundation here. Qi Shizengxing swallowed the words that were on the tip of his tongue. Previously, he had also tried to persuade Ning Cheng not to attack Shifeng. In fact, Ning Cheng not only blasted away the stone peak, but he also found the divine chalcedony inside the stone peak. From the looks of it, his thoughts might not be entirely correct. "Alright, I'll go look for divine chalcedony. I'll let you know as soon as I find it." Qi Shizengxing reluctantly returned the divine chalcedony in his hand to Ning Cheng and then brought out his weapon in high spirits. Apparently, he believed that he could find the divine chalcedony. Ning Cheng put away the divine chalcedony and didn't bother with Qi Shizengxing. He sat down and started to comprehend the array foundations of the stone forest around him. Previously, Ning Cheng had blasted these stone peaks, causing Qi Shizengxing to fall unconscious. Currently, Qi Shizengxing bombarded the stone peaks while Ning Cheng went into seclusion to comprehend the array foundation. Qi Shizengxing's luck was much worse than Ning Cheng's. He didn't know how many stone peaks he had smashed, but he only found a piece of divine chalcedony on the 10th day. Even so, his joyful voice was extremely exaggerated. Fortunately, Qi Shizengxing's luck improved. On the 16th day, he found a second piece of divine chalcedony. After a month, he had already found 5 pieces of divine chalcedony. Seeing Ning Cheng still meditating with his eyes closed, Qi Shizengxing decided to leave a few pieces for Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng stood up at this time. He had obtained 2 pieces of divine chalcedony, while Qi Shizingxing had obtained 5. The locations of these 7 pieces of divine chalcedony gave him a vague impression. Perhaps he couldn't arrange such a huge illusory array with his current ability. But he could find the locations of the array foundations with divine chalcedony through his own calculations over the past month. Brother Qi, don't waste your time. There's no divine chalcedony in these stone peaks. Just when Qi Shizingxing was about to smash another stone peak a few hundred feet wide, Ning Qing stopped him. Qi Shizingxing looked at Ning Qing in confusion. I haven't broken these stone peaks yet. How do you know it's not here? He didn't believe that Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness could penetrate these stone peaks. These stone peaks' ability to isolate spiritual consciousness was far stronger than their cultivation. Ning Cheng showed a smile. I found a pattern. After saying that, Ning Cheng brought out his long spear, and in a place a few dozen feet away from Qi Shirsan's star, his spear struck a stone peak only a few dozen feet high. The stone peak collapsed, and a pitch-black piece of divine chalcedony appeared in front of the two. Qi Shizingxing looked at the pitch-black piece of divine chalcedony sluggishly. After a while, he looked at Ning Cheng and exclaimed, Brother Ning, you've struck it rich. You must remember me. Ning Cheng had indeed struck it rich. After finding the pattern of divine chalcedony's locations, he and Qi Shizingxing dug out more than 100 pieces of divine chalcedony in just a dozen days. Even if they made a mistake, it wouldn't be too much of a mistake. There's another skeleton here. Ning Qing stopped. He saw a skeleton with some skin still attached to it. Since he found the pattern of divine chalcedony's appearance, he hadn't seen a skeleton, let alone such a complete one. Qi Shizingxing also came over and carefully looked at the skeleton on the ground. He suddenly sighed and said, I know who this person is. Chapter 888. Without waiting for Ning Qing to ask, Qi Shizingxing said, he's Pill Sage Min Kong. You mean Pill Sage Min Kong, the one who used the human-faced poison centipede to guard the divine spiritual herb garden? Ning Qing asked in surprise. Qi Shizingxing nodded, yes, it's him. He's the premier pill sage of the Grand Essence realm, and the robe he wears is the premier pill sage's robe. Moreover, he never wears rings and only uses bracelets. I didn't expect Pill Sage Min Kong to fall in this place. From the looks of it, he came here for the divine chalcedony. Ning Qing found that the skeleton only had a bracelet on his wrist and no rings on his fingers. Pill Sage Min Kong's bracelet must have a lot of good things. Since Brother Ning found it, you can put it away. His Pill Sage's robe is also amazing. It's tens of thousands of times better than my robe. It's priceless. Brother Ning, you can also put it away. Qi Shizingxing came from the profound Moon Spirit Gate. Although he also wanted Pill Sage Min Kong's bracelet, he was much more rational than the average cultivator. Ning Cheng put away Pill Sage Min Kong's bracelet but didn't touch his robe. Instead, he dug a grave, refined a jade coffin, and put Pill Sage Min Kong into the jade coffin before sending it to the grave. After doing all this, Ning Cheng refined a tombstone with the words Grand Essence Realm's premier Pill Sage Min Kong's tomb, erected by the benefactor Ning Cheng. He then placed it in front of the tomb and bowed 3 times. Seeing Qi Shizingxing's confusion, Ning Cheng sighed and said, although I was chased by that human-faced poison centipede and almost died, I obtained a lot of divine grasses from his spiritual medicine garden. However, I obtained a large number of divine grasses in his spiritual medicine garden. Because I am also an alchemist, I kept his bracelet. No matter how you look at it, Pill Sage Min Kong has done me a favor. It's only right for me to clean up his corpse and pay my respects to him. Qi Shizingxing remembered that his corporeal body came from Pill Sage Min Kong's spiritual medicine garden and immediately felt ashamed. He also stood in front of Pill Sage Min Kong's tomb and worshipped it a few times. Ning Qing pointed to a stone peak beside the tomb and said, this stone peak should have divine chalcedony. But since this is Pil Sage Min Kong's tombstone, let's go to the next place. Okay. Qi Shixingsing agreed to Ning Cheng's words without hesitation. The two of them had just taken 3 steps according to their previous route when their eyes suddenly lit up. The misty stone forest had disappeared without a trace. What appeared in front of the two was a boundless wilderness. There were even God's spiritual energy fluctuations in the distance. We came out. Qi Shixingsing understood. His first thought wasn't to leave but to turn around. There were so many spiritual consciousness essences in the lost stone forest. Moreover, if he stayed together with Ning Cheng, then the illusory array formation would not affect him at all. Only a fool would be willing to come out so early. I can't get in. Ning Cheng frowned as he looked at the endless wasteland behind him. Where was the lost stone forest behind them? Where was Shifeng? Qi Shixingsing also reacted and exclaimed, "What a powerful illusory array. Brother Ning, if it weren't for you, I'm afraid I wouldn't have come out of it in another 60,000 years. Sigh, it's a pity for Pil Sage Min Kong. He was only 3 steps away from coming out, but he actually died inside. Sometimes, there are only 3 steps between life and death." Ning Cheng remained silent. If he didn't have the 7 bridges spirit technique, he would have most likely died in the lost stone forest. Even if the mysterious yellow origin aura could keep him awake for a while, his sea of consciousness would eventually dim under the effects of the illusory array and the Yin demons. In other words, sooner or later, he would fall in the lost stone forest like Qi Shixingsing and turn into a skeleton like Pil Sage Min Kong. Let's go. Let's divide the divine chalcedony and the things in Pil Sage Min Kong's bracelet. Ning Cheng patted Qi Shixingsing, who was still sighing. Brother Ning, you saved my life. Since you're also an alchemy master, I don't want that bracelet anymore. Just give me 10 divine chalcedony. I don't need more. Qi Shixingsing said with a straight face. He knew very well that Ning Cheng had saved his life, and it was also because of Ning Cheng that he could walk out of the lost stone forest. Moreover, it was all thanks to Ning Cheng that they could find so many divine chalcedonies. Ning Cheng smiled. He had been with Qi Shixingsing for a month or 2 and had long since understood Qi Shixingsing's character. Qi Shixingsing wasn't a cunning person. If you treated him with sincerity, he would treat you with sincerity. As for divine chalcedony being useless, it was just a comforting statement. The more, the better. How could it be useless? Ning Cheng took out 30 divine chalcedony and handed it to Qi Shixingsing. Brother Qi, I'm going to refine the spirit essence pill, so I'll take some more. Hearing that Ning Cheng wanted to refine the spirit essence pill, Qi Shixingsing's eyes lit up. But he still took out 5 divine chalcedony. Brother Ning, I only need 10. You can keep the other 5. If you manage to refine the spirit essence pill, remember to give me 5 portions. If you fail, forget it. Hearing Qi Shixingsing's words, Ning Cheng didn't refuse. He believed that he could successfully refine the spirit essence pill. Therefore, he took back the rest of the divine chalcedony and said, "Okay, I'll give them to you once I succeed. You've been in the Grand Essence Mystic Realm for more than half a year, right? Let's go back and look for divine grasses along the way. By the time we reach the exit, it should be about time." Qi Shixingsing was in a good mood. He guessed that Ning Cheng must have entered the Grand Essence Mystic Realm to look for divine grasses. Because Ning Cheng himself said that he was an alchemy master. Ning Cheng hesitated for a moment before saying, "Brother Qi, I might need your help. See if you can help. If not, I'll think of another way." When Qi Shixingsing heard Ning Cheng's words, his tone immediately turned a little unpleasant. "Ning Cheng, I won't call you Brother Ning anymore. The two of us have gone through life and death together in the Grand Essence Lost Stone Forest. You're just being wary of me and not being straightforward enough." Ning Cheng smiled, "Okay, then I won't stand on ceremony. I'm also too lazy to call you Brother Qi. But Shizingsing sounds good. Qi Shizingsing felt even better when he heard Ning Cheng's words. Hurry up and say it. If you want me to help you fight, it would be for the best. Even after tens of thousands of years, I haven't had a good fight. Hee, I can't wait. While talking, Qi Shizingsing kept rubbing his hands. Coupled with his weak body, it looked a little funny. It's not a fight. I offended someone. I guess that person will be waiting for me outside when the Grand Essence Mystic Realm closes. Ning Cheng shook his head and said. Qi Shizingsing laughed, then it's even simpler. At that time, I, Shizingsing, will suddenly appear. Let's see who dares to talk to my brother. If anyone dares to talk, I'll slap him to death. He had the confidence to say this. Even if the other party was a disciple of one of the top 10 sects, he would still dare to do so. I'm afraid not. That person is called Man Huishan. I heard that he's a dragon emperor. Ning Cheng said with some distress. Qi Shizingsing looked at Ning Cheng with his mouth wide open. After a while, he stuttered, You said you offended Man Huishan? How could you have anything to do with him? He's a Tao Essence Holy Emperor. Slap Man Huishan to death. Even his father wouldn't dare say such a thing. Man Huishan would kill Qi Shizingsing with a slap. Ning Cheng rubbed his hair helplessly and sighed, Oh, if I could, I wouldn't want to provoke such a person. It's an undeserved disaster for me to provoke this fellow. If it weren't for Manjuran wanting to destroy the mysterious Yellow Starland, how could he have become enemies with Man Huishan? Qi Shizingsing calmed down and comforted him, Don't worry. I'll ask my father to go to the Grand Essence Sea and ask for a favor. Nothing will happen. That probably won't work. I killed Man Huishan's son, Manjuran. I'm afraid it would be difficult to ask for a favor. You. Qi Shizingsing looked at Ning Cheng in anger. He had seen bold people before, but he had never seen someone as bold as Ning Cheng. You even dared to kill Man Huishan's son? What kind of guts did you eat? After a few minutes, Qi Shizingsing finally spoke up, Tell me about the process. Let's find a way together. Ning Cheng felt that Qi Shizingsing really wanted to help him. Therefore, he told him about the hatred between him and Manjuran. He only concealed the 5-colored star splitter arrow. In fact, if Qi Shizingsing showed any signs of not wanting to help, Ning Cheng would have found another way. After listening to Ning Cheng's words, Qi Shizingsing put aside Man Huishan's strength. This kid dared to scheme against you in the mystic realm. He deserved to die. Besides, Man Huishan doesn't know that you killed him. So you don't have to worry. I'm sure I can think of a way. If Brother Ning stays in my miniature world. Ning Cheng interrupted Qi Shizingsing's words, It's useless. Not to mention a miniature world, even a true spirit world can't avoid Man Huishan's detection. Ning Cheng also stopped talking. If there was someone in the true spirit world, there was indeed no way to avoid the detection of a Tao Essence powerhouse. But what if the 3,000 weak water could cover up the true spirit world? Thinking of this, Ning Cheng spoke up without hesitation, Shizingsing, I have a true spirit world and a drop of 3,000 weak water. When we get out, I will enter the true spirit world. Then, I will use the 3,000 weak water to cover up the aura of the true spirit world. You can then take this true spirit world out. Wonderful. Qi Shizingsing clapped his hands and said with joy, Then it's settled. Let's go look for divine grasses. When we get out, I'll take you with me. Okay, but unfortunately, I won't be able to participate in the Grand Essence Great Meet. Ning Cheng hesitated a little before agreeing to Qi Shizingsing's words. Comparing not being able to participate in the Great Meet with his life, Ning Cheng naturally understood which was more important. For others, entering the true spirit world would mean putting their lives in the hands of others. But Ning Cheng had a trump card. He believed that he wouldn't misjudge someone. Even if he misjudged someone, he could still blow up the true spirit world. With the mysterious yellow bead, he wouldn't have any problems even if he blew up the true spirit world. The only drawback was that it would expose the mysterious yellow bead. Do you want to go to the extraterritorial spirit spring to transform your spirit essence? Qi Shixingsing understood Ning Cheng's intentions as soon as he heard Ning Cheng's words. Ning Cheng nodded and said, yes. In fact, I didn't come to the Grand Essence Mystic Realm for divine grasses. Instead, I wanted to go to the extraterritorial spirit spring to transform my spirit essence. Chapter 889. Qi Shixingsing laughed, no problem. I'll help you participate in the Grand Essence Great Meet. Even if I've been trapped in the Lost Stone Forest for tens of thousands of years and my strength has declined greatly, it's not necessarily impossible for me to get into the top 10. Don't you need to convert it into celestial essence? Ning Cheng asked in doubt. Qi Shixingsing showed a smile. Before entering the Grand Essence Mystic Realm, I had already transformed my celestial essence into spirit essence. If I hadn't been trapped in the Grand Essence Lost Stone Forest for tens of thousands of years, I would have already become a Tao sculpting Holy Emperor. Ning Cheng felt overjoyed and quickly said, that's great. I'll give you those divine grasses later. As long as you can reach the top 10, you can win a spot in the Grand Essence Great Meet. Qi Shixingsing waved his hand and said, I'll ask my father for a spot in the Grand Essence Great Meet. But I'm worried that if I can't get into the top 10, you won't be able to enter the extraterritorial spirit spring to transform your celestial essence. That wouldn't be good. If it was Qi Shixingsing himself, he wouldn't have cared. However, he could see that Ning Cheng cared a lot about entering the extraterritorial spirit spring. If Ning Cheng couldn't enter the extraterritorial spirit spring because of him, it would truly be unfair to him. Ning Cheng showed a smile, 13 stars. The Grand Essence domain only has a total of 100 spots for the Grand Essence Great Meet. I believe that your profound Moon God Gate is also very concerned about the quota to participate in the competition. My quota will be obtained through divine herbs. This way, not only will I not offend your fellow sect members, but in the future, no one will be able to say anything. Qi Shixingsing understood Ning Cheng's meaning. Ning Cheng didn't want to make things difficult for him. Even if his father was the sect master, him casually taking away the sect's quota for the competition would attract gossip. Fortunately, he knew that Ning Cheng had a lot of divine grasses and agreed, then let's do as you say. Ning Cheng took off his mask and spoke, 13 stars, this is my original appearance. If you don't recognize me when the time comes, that would be a joke. Seeing Ning Cheng take off the appearance-changing mask, Qi Shixingsing suddenly froze. He immediately thought of a better way. Ning Cheng patted Qi Shixingsing and asked, hey, are you okay? Qi Shixingsing showed a smile, your appearance is much more pleasing to the eye. You looked a bit fierce before. However, I did think of a better way to let you participate in the Grand Essence Great Meet on your own. While talking, Qi Shixingsing took out a jade bottle and handed it to Ning Cheng. I have an appearance-changing pill here. It was refined by a Tao-raising pill deity. It can change your appearance for 3 months. Even a Tao nourishment divine emperor wouldn't be able to tell. Wait. Ning Cheng interrupted Qi Shixingsing's words, Shixingsing, I'm afraid this won't work. The first people to enter the Grand Essence Mystic Realm all have their own identities. Even you have your own identity. Who do I disguise myself as? Secondly, Man Huishan wasn't a Tao birth expert but a Tao essence expert. When we get out, there might even be primordial chaos experts. This is somewhat inappropriate. Don't worry, I have my status. In the past, I entered the Mystic Realm with the Grand Essence Domain's Tier 8 Pill Emperor Ji He and found the Grand Essence Lost Stone Forest together. Later, we all got lost in the Grand Essence Lost Stone Forest and lost contact with each other. A few years later, I found Ji He's remains. I found the Pill Union's identity card in his remains. Unfortunately, I couldn't find his ring. While talking, Qi Shixingsing took out a cyan-colored card made of unknown materials and handed it to Ning Cheng. This is the Pill Union's identity card for a Tier 8 Pill Emperor. By the way, have you reached the level of a Tier 8 Pill Emperor in alchemy? Ning Cheng nodded. He had long since surpassed the level of a Tier 8 Pill Emperor. Now, he was a true Dao sculpting pill deity. He took the card and looked at it for a long time. But he couldn't tell what material it was made of. He only saw 8 stars engraved on the card and some symbols of the Pill Union. Qi Shixingsing saw Ning Cheng repeatedly looking at the card and remembered that Ning Cheng had just arrived in the Grand Essence realm. He immediately explained, in the Grand Essence domain, the Pill Union is very powerful. It's even stronger than the Artifact-related Union, Talisman Union, and the Array Dao Alliance. As long as you reach the level of a Pill Emperor, your identity card will turn cyan. A Tier 7 Pill Emperor will turn light cyan, a Tier 8 Pill Emperor will turn cyan, and a Tier 9 Pill Emperor will turn dark cyan. If you advance to the level of a Pill Deity stage, the identity card will turn blue or purple. The color will also vary from light to dark. A Dao sculpting Pill Deity would turn light blue, while a Primordial Chaos Pill Deity would turn purple. As for a dark purple ordinary Pill Sage or a golden high-grade Pill Sage, they have never appeared before. This method is indeed good, but I can't hide my aura. I've never seen that Ji He, nor can I perceive his aura. This method is too risky. Ning Cheng shook his head and returned the Pill Union's identity card to Qi Shixingsing. Ning Cheng felt confident that he could completely conceal the aura of the form-changing pill. Even Dao Essence powerhouses wouldn't be able to see through it. However, he couldn't imitate Ji He's aura. As long as a cultivator knew Ji He, he wouldn't be able to hide from them. Qi Shixingsing smiled, "You don't have to worry. I have Ji He's cultivation method. Don't you still have a few months to go out?" In a few months, as long as you feel the aura of his cultivation method, you won't be recognized after you go out. With my identity, not many people would dare to use their spiritual consciousness to spy on you. Do you have Ji He's cultivation method? Ning Cheng asked with joy. If he had the cultivation method, he wouldn't even need a few months. With the power of the mysterious yellow formless, he felt sure that he could imitate Ji He's aura in just a dozen days. Of course. Qi Shixingsing took out a jade strip and handed it to Ning Cheng. "I have a good relationship with Ji He. This is something we exchanged. I gave him a good spirit technique. Alas, it's a pity." Ning Cheng took Qi Shixingsing's jade strip and understood why Qi Shixingsing wanted to exchange cultivation methods with Ji He. This Qi Shixingsing truly was a friend. He didn't need Ji He's cultivation method, but he knew that Ji He needed his spirit technique. That's why he came up with a way to exchange with Ji He. Only by doing this would Ji He not feel guilty. In the next few months, Ning Cheng and Qi Shixingsing rushed back. Qi Shixingsing told Ning Cheng about Ji He. Ji He was a rogue cultivator, but he had a strong talent for alchemy. Later, he entered the Grand Essence domain and became a member of the Pill Union. He helped many clans with alchemy and lived a good life. Qi Shixingsing had personally looked for Ji He for alchemy, and the two met. When Ning Cheng heard that Ji He had a fiancé, his expression turned a little ugly. A Tier 8 Pill Emperor wasn't much in the Grand Essence domain, but Ji He had the potential to develop into a pill deity. A clan wanted to marry Ji He, which meant that they had taken a fancy to Ji He's potential. If he went out and got entangled by this marriage clan, it wouldn't be good for him. Seeing Ning Cheng's ugly expression, Qi Shixingsing laughed and patted Ning Cheng's shoulder. "You don't have to worry about it. Ji He disappeared from the Grand Essence mystic realm for 60,000 years. I don't think anyone would think that he's still alive. The clan that wanted to marry him took a fancy to his talent in alchemy. It's not about love or not. Ji He disappeared for tens of thousands of years, and they might even have children by now. How could they remember an unknown rogue cultivator like you? Ning Cheng also thought about it. A Tier 8 Pill Emperor really wasn't much in the Grand Essence domain. What's more, he might even enter the extraterritorial spirit spring in a few months. With Qi Shixingsing's help, Ning Cheng gained a certain understanding of Ji He in just a few months. Over the past few months, Ning Cheng and Qi Shixingsing not only obtained a lot of divine grasses but also got closer and closer to the exit teleportation array. What made Ning Cheng feel more at ease was that the human-faced poison centipede didn't chase after them. Just a month before the one-year deadline, Ning Cheng took the form-changing pill. Now that he had Qi Shixingsing's help and reminders, the form-changing pill became more and more similar. The closer they got to the teleportation array, the more people they met along the way. Shixingsing, what happens if we stay here after a year? Ning Cheng asked in doubt as he saw many people rushing towards the teleportation array. If it's not in a specific place, such as the Lost Stone Forest, there is only one outcome. That is, death. I heard that if cultivators stay here for more than a year, the world pressure they have to bear would gradually increase, and they would no longer be able to absorb any spiritual qi. Qi Shixingsing spoke with a solemn tone. Huh, are you profound moon spirit gates Qi Shixingsing? A surprised voice sounded out, and soon, a grey-robed male cultivator stopped in front of Ning Cheng and Qi Shixingsing. Qi Shixingsing looked at the cultivator in front of him and nodded before saying, "Yes, I'm Qi Shixingsing." He didn't know this cultivator at all, but he most likely had seen him before. You've been in here for 60,000 years. This cultivator seemed to have a good understanding of Qi Shixingsing. He could easily tell how many years Qi Shixingsing had stayed in the Grand Essence mystic realm. After saying that, he didn't wait for Qi Shixingsing to answer. Instead, his gaze fell on Ning Cheng and he smiled, "You must be a Tier 8 Pill Emperor, Ji He. After all these years, Pill Emperor Ji He should have improved a lot, right?" Ning Cheng ignored the grey-robed cultivator. This grey-robed cultivator was a half-step Dao sculpting expert. His eyes flashed, indicating that he wanted to take advantage of him and Qi Shixingsing. Ning Cheng and Qi Shixingsing had stayed in the Grand Essence mystic realm for 60,000 years. In the other party's opinion, the divine grasses on his body couldn't even be stored in a ring. Moreover, neither he nor Qi Shixingsing seemed to have reached half-step Dao sculpting. Moreover, Qi Shixingsing's essence Qi hadn't fully recovered. Although he wasn't all skin and bones, he still looked a bit weak. "Ning Cheng, this fellow wants to rob us. If I'm not wrong, he should be a half-step Dao sculpting expert." Qi Shixingsing's voice reached Ning Cheng's ears in time. Ning Cheng nodded and cupped his fists towards the half-step Dao sculpting cultivator. "May I know which sect this friend is from?" The grey-robed cultivator smiled, "I'm a rogue cultivator." With just a few words, the grey-robed cultivator's domain suddenly erupted, instantly enveloping Ning Cheng and Qi Shixingsing. At the same time, a huge red net fell from the sky. Chapter 890. You two have stayed here for tens of thousands of years, so you must have some good things on you. I want to borrow some. The grey-robed cultivator saw his domain easily covering Ning Cheng and Qi Shixingsing and spoke with a relaxed tone. Although the domain bound Ning Cheng and Qi Shixingsing, and the big net fell down, he still didn't feel at ease. A giant axe rolled up thousands of axe shadows and slashed towards Ning Cheng and Qi Shixingsing within his domain. He didn't feel surprised that his domain could bind Ning Cheng and Qi Shixingsing. After all, Ning Cheng and Qi Shixingsing were only in the eternal realm. Two eternal cultivators couldn't escape from a half-step Dao sculpting cultivator's attack. Qi Shixingsing felt shocked. When he felt the grey-robed cultivator's attack, he immediately wanted to extend his domain to resist and pull Ning Cheng away. However, he hadn't even recovered half of his strength. As such, he couldn't break free and ended up bound by the grey-robed cultivator. Feeling anxious, Qi Shizingxing wanted to call out to Ning Cheng to burn his essence blood to break free from the grey-robed cultivator's domain. But then, he saw the grey-robed cultivator's red net and giant axe falling down. The grey-robed cultivator decisively used all his strength from the start. Apparently, he wanted to end this fight quickly. Qi Shizingxing sighed. He and Ning Cheng's combined strength couldn't compare to this grey-robed cultivator. Just when Qi Shizingxing was about to go all out, he suddenly felt his surroundings lighten. Then, he felt Ning Cheng's domain pressing out. Ning Cheng's domain had even suppressed the grey-robed cultivator's domain. Qi Shizingxing couldn't help but feel shocked at Ning Cheng's strength. He quickly stretched out his domain to help Ning Cheng's domain suppress the grey-robed cultivator. Kaka. Sounds of domains shattering emerged. The next moment, Ning Cheng's long spear shot out with spear patterns. Ning Cheng used to use axes, so he understood axe intent too well. The endless spear patterns, like waves on a calm lake, directly blocked the big red net. However, when the long spear collided with the grey-robed cultivator's giant axe, the majestic spear intent submerged in the giant axe, creating a series of explosions. With a horrifying explosion of essence qi, Ning Cheng took Qi Shizingxing and flew out from under the stagnant red net. At the same time, the grey-robed cultivator also flew out. A 3,000 feet long gully appeared at the spot where the spear and axe clashed. This gully was completely formed by the explosion of vital energy. Neither of them used any divine abilities. The grey-robed Dao sculpting cultivator looked at Ning Cheng in disbelief. How could an eternal cultivator be this strong? In his opinion, Ning Cheng hadn't even reached the late-stage eternal realm. Although he didn't use any spirit techniques, did he really need to use any spirit techniques to kill two eternal cultivators with severely damaged vitality? He had heard that he was an alchemy master. But for an alchemy master to have such a powerful celestial essence, it was just too amazing. The grey-robed cultivator's expression changed a few times. He was already prepared to leave. Ning Cheng's strength had far exceeded his expectations. He estimated that he wouldn't be able to take down Qi Shizingxing and He in a short time. Besides, there were a lot of cultivators coming and going here. If someone saw him fighting with Qi Shizingxing, he would definitely die. Even if he could get out, he wouldn't be able to escape. Ning. Brother Qi Shizingxing almost called out Ning Cheng's name in shock. Since Ning Cheng could escape the pursuit of the human-faced poison centipede, he understood that Ning Cheng wasn't a simple person. But he never expected that Ning Cheng could even block a half-step Dao sculpting cultivator. How could this not be simple? Ning Cheng suddenly bent over and spat out a mouthful of blood. Then, his entire body withered, and his aura turned chaotic. Even his face turned pale. Qi Shizingxing understood that Ning Cheng had suffered severe injuries when he saw Ning Cheng's appearance. From the looks of it, the battle with the grey-robed Dao sculpting cultivator had damaged his foundation. It wasn't surprising. An eternal cultivator clashed head-on with a half-step Dao sculpting cultivator. It would have been strange if the cultivator didn't suffer severe injuries. The grey-robed cultivator, who originally wanted to escape, also saw Ning Cheng's dispirited state. He immediately dispelled the idea of escaping and rushed up again without thinking about it. This time, his red net suddenly shattered and turned into endless red light, completely enveloping an area of 100 miles in radius. This was his top-grade spirit technique, the inescapable net. With Ning Cheng and Qi Shizingxing's current state, they couldn't escape the inescapable net. He had already offended Qi Shizingxing. Therefore, he naturally wouldn't give up this opportunity to kill Qi Shizingxing. When Ning Cheng saw the grey-robed cultivator rushing up, his bent waist suddenly straightened up. His eyes also lit up, and his aura grew even more majestic. He didn't look injured at all. Not good, he fell for it. After the grey-robed cultivator brought out the inescapable net and saw Ning Cheng's appearance, he understood that Ning Cheng had fallen for it. He had indeed fallen for it. Ning Cheng didn't have the strength to fight a half-stepped out sculpting cultivator head-on and suffer severe injuries. The reason why Ning Cheng appeared to be in a dispirited state was because he feared that the grey-robed cultivator would escape. Once the other party escaped, he wouldn't be able to catch him. If Qi Shixingsing hadn't called his name wrong, the grey-robed cultivator would have escaped. But Qi Shixingsing had accidentally called out the word Ning just now. Therefore, the other party definitely couldn't remember it. Once he went out and calmed down, the other party would definitely suspect that something was amiss. The boundless red light transformed into an invisible net, completely trapping the space within it. Qi Shixingsing hadn't fully recovered his strength and was still too weak. Therefore, he couldn't do anything in the face of such a big net that almost cut through space. Ning Cheng took a step forward, took out the 7 Bridges Realm book, and pointed his hand forward, first bridge of coping. In an instant, the billowing yin qi covered the sky and earth. No matter how powerful the grey-robed cultivator's inescapable net was, it couldn't lock down the billowing yin qi. In an instant, the red net that cut through space slowly shrank and solidified, turning into a red net-like weapon that fell onto the bridge of coping. At this moment, the 5 scribbled words First Bridge of Coping appeared clearly, and the pale stone arch bridge also slowly rose up. Although the tumbling blood river under the bridge still looked blurry, the grey-robed cultivator felt stunned. Was this the legendary first bridge of the 7 Bridges spirit technique? The grey-robed cultivator reacted. He even forgot that the red net that matched his inescapable net spirit technique hadn't been taken back yet. He immediately turned around and tried to escape without hesitation. Facing the infamous first bridge of coping, even if the first bridge of coping hadn't solidified yet, he didn't have the courage to try it. But just as he turned around, a faint voice came from a place he couldn't see behind the bridge: no return in life, no retreat in death, once you enter, you will never return. Then he saw him step onto the first bridge of coping. The bridge of coping didn't turn around, nor did it retreat. As long as you saw it, no matter how many times you turned around, no matter how many steps you took back, you had to step onto the bridge of coping. This wasn't a simulated bridge of coping, but the real bridge of coping spirit technique that Ning Cheng had brought out. It contained the Tao charm of Ning Cheng and the 7 Bridges Realm book spirit technique. Unless you were far stronger than the cultivator using the bridge of coping, you wouldn't be able to ignore the bridge of coping. First bridge of coping, no home, no reincarnation. Standing on the bridge of coping, the grey-robed cultivator's voice trembled. At this moment, he had completely lost his fighting spirit. Ning Cheng's face turned pale. Using the bridge of coping to bind a half-stepped out sculpting cultivator, even he couldn't support it. More importantly, he couldn't fully control the first bridge of coping. The grey-robed cultivator standing on the bridge of coping finally reacted. He couldn't lose his fighting spirit. He had to break free from this place. Bringing out his giant axe, an axe shadow shot out. The axe shadow landed on the pale bridge, and the bridge instantly turned blurry. Ning Cheng opened his mouth and spat out a mouthful of essence blood. This time, it wasn't an act. He truly suffered a backlash from the grey-robed cultivator's attack on the bridge of coping. Seeing that the grey-robed cultivator was about to unleash a second axe strike, Ning Cheng felt anxious. He didn't have full control of the first bridge of coping. The reason he brought out this spirit technique was that he knew that only the first bridge of coping could stop this fellow from escaping. Just when Ning Cheng wanted to burn his essence blood to continue suppressing the grey-robed cultivator on the bridge, the first bridge of coping changed once again in his mind. It seemed that his understanding of the first bridge of coping had improved, and he now had a kind of life and death control over the people who entered the bridge of coping. Lock onto me. Ning Cheng pointed with his hand, and an invisible Tao charm spread out like ripples. The next moment, the grey-robed cultivator found himself locked onto the first bridge of coping. His giant axe froze in the air as if it had just been brought out. Ning Cheng had a feeling that he could control the gray-robed cultivator's life and death. He could bind the gray-robed cultivator and grab him under his feet. He could also slap the gray-robed cultivator to death who entered his bridge of coping. Looking at the blurry blood river under the bridge, Ning Cheng suddenly snorted, "Go down for me." The gray-robed cultivator's eyes flashed with a hint of struggle. But this struggle only lasted for a moment before he rushed out of the bridge of coping and jumped into the blood river. After the gray-robed cultivator jumped down, the blurry blood river seemed to have become a bit clearer. Ning Cheng also vaguely felt that the first bridge of coping had grown a bit. He felt secretly surprised, but at the same time, he also understood what the other source of the growth of the first bridge of coping was. Taking in a deep breath, Ning Cheng opened his hand, and a ring flew out of the blood river and fell into his hand. This ring belonged to the gray-robed cultivator. Putting away the ring, Ning Cheng raised his hand and put away the first bridge of coping. Then, he took out several medicinal pills and swallowed them. Using the first bridge of coping to kill a half-step Dao sculpting cultivator might seem simple, but it consumed a lot of energy. Qi Shixingsing reacted and grabbed Ning Cheng's arm before speaking up in surprise, "Ning Cheng, did you just cast the first bridge of the 7 bridges spirit technique?" Ning Cheng nodded, "It's indeed the first bridge of coping. This spirit technique consumes a lot of energy. If it weren't for the sake of keeping this guy here, I wouldn't have used it. Don't leak it out casually. It's related to my life. Also, don't call me Ning Cheng casually in the future. My name is Ji He. If you hadn't leaked a word just now, I wouldn't have had to fight so hard to keep this guy here." Without the 7 Bridges Realm book, Ning Cheng couldn't cast the first bridge of coping at all. Comprehending a divine ability was one thing, but being able to use it in its entirety was another. Chapter 891. Qi Shixingsing's eyes glowed with golden light. "It really is this thing. Ning Cheng, hurry up and teach me. This kind of killing weapon was simply too awesome. If someone fights with me in the future, I can just use the first bridge of coping to scare them to death." Ning Cheng said helplessly, "This spirit technique needs to be combined with the 7 Bridges Realm book." But Ning Cheng only spoke halfway when he felt something wrong. Powerful spirit techniques could be casually used. Why would he need the 7 Bridges Realm book? Perhaps it was because his strength was too low that he needed the 7 Bridges Realm book. Thinking of this, Ning Cheng patted Qi Shixingsing on the shoulder. "Okay, I'll teach you the first bridge spirit technique first. If you learn it, I'll teach you the second bridge. If you can't even learn the first bridge, don't ask me about the second bridge. Also, don't reveal the 7 Bridges spirit technique." Qi Shixingsing rubbed his hands together and spoke up with excitement, "Naturally, I will never reveal it." Qi Shixingsing's words hadn't finished when another light rushed over from a distance. Before the figure arrived, Ning Cheng and Qi Shixingsing could already smell the smell of blood. Ning Cheng recognized the cultivator who flew over. It was Yan Xishuang of the 7-star sacred shrine. Yan Xishuang's hair was disheveled, and blood oozed from her body. Her aura was also extremely chaotic. Apparently, she suffered some serious injuries. 2 more lights chased after Yan Xishuang. These 2 people's auras weren't any worse than the gray-robed cultivator Ning Cheng had just killed. Both were half-step Dao sculpting cultivators. Ning Cheng felt sure that these 2 would catch up to Yan Xishuang sooner or later. In the distance, Yan Xishuang also saw Ning Cheng and Qi Shixingsing. But she knew that it didn't make any sense to continue running. So before she arrived, her voice arrived. "You 2, I obtained 2 Dao fruit trees. If you 2 are willing to help me get through this, I'm willing to give you 1 Dao fruit tree." Qi Shixingsing's gaze fell on Ning Cheng. Dao fruit trees were too precious. But he also knew that he wasn't strong enough, and Ning Cheng had just fought a half-step Dao sculpting cultivator. The 2 of them didn't have enough strength to stop these 2 half-step Dao sculpting cultivators. By this point, Yan Xishuang had already fallen, and seeing the other two about to catch up, Ning Qing didn't hesitate to take out the starry sky wheel and said, "Go." With that, the spear in his hand transformed into countless spear patterns that blasted towards the two pursuing half-step Dao modeling cultivators. Qi Shizingxing and Ning Qing had been together for a few months now. Therefore, as soon as Ning Qing brought out the starry sky wheel, he immediately rushed up. Yan Xishuang didn't have any other choice. Facing two half-step Dao sculpting experts, and with such severe injuries, she would die without a doubt. Similarly, she also rushed forward without hesitation. The two half-step Dao sculpting cultivators had just arrived when Ning Cheng's spear patterns stopped them. Ning Cheng's spear pattern filled with killing intent cut through space and suddenly appeared in front of the two half-step Dao sculpting cultivators. Even if it couldn't injure the two half-step Dao sculpting cultivators, it still shocked them. What Ning Cheng wanted was not for these two people to get injured, he just wanted a moment. The two half-step Dao sculpting experts paused for a moment, but Ning Cheng had already controlled the starry sky wheel and disappeared into the distance. The two of them hurriedly chased after it, but it was completely useless. Even the human-faced poison centipede couldn't catch up to the starry sky wheel, let alone two half-step Dao sculpting cultivators. Many thanks for the help. I'm Yan Xishuang, a disciple of the 7-star sacred shrine. Although Yan Xishuang had boarded the starry sky wheel, she still felt a little worried. Normally, she wouldn't fear Ning Cheng and Qi Shizingxing. But now, she was seriously injured. The reason why Ning Cheng saved Yan Xishuang was that he knew her, and he also knew that Yan Xishuang was a trustworthy person. Since she said that she would take out a Dao fruit tree, then she would definitely take out a Dao fruit tree. What he lacked the most was a Dao fruit tree. Last time, he obtained a thunder-attributed Dao fruit tree. Even if he used a bunch of law soil and wood origin crystals, it still wouldn't wither. He had only managed to prevent the Dao fruit tree from withering. It was still a long way off from restoring the Dao fruit tree's vitality, let alone the Dao fruit tree. Sometimes, Ning Cheng even thought about putting the half of the wood origin bead into the mysterious yellow bead and planting the Dao fruit tree inside. But in the end, Ning Cheng chose to give up. The mysterious yellow bead was his biggest trump card. If he couldn't derive a real world because of the missing half of the wood origin bead, it wouldn't be worth it. Now that Yan Xishuang had a Dao fruit tree, he naturally wanted one. He guessed that Yan Xishuang finding the Dao fruit tree most likely had something to do with the azure lotus fragment. But what puzzled Ning Cheng was that Yan Xishuang's strength should be far stronger than ordinary half-step Dao sculpting cultivators. So why would two half-step Dao sculpting cultivators chase after her? Qi Shizingxing secretly praised Yan Xishuang's beauty before cupping his fists and saying, "I'm Qi Shizingxing of the profound moon spirit gate. I didn't expect that someone would dare to chase after people from the 7-star sacred shrine. They're wearing face-changing masks. If I hadn't fought with these two people when I was snatching the Dao fruit tree, I wouldn't have cared about them at all." Ning Qing didn't care about Yan Xishuang's words. Yan Xishuang indeed had the strength to back her up. He also understood why two half-step Dao sculpting cultivators chased after Yan Xishuang. But Qi Shizingxing felt shocked. Yan Xishuang didn't care about two half-step Dao sculpting cultivators. Wasn't this strength a bit too strong? He glanced at Ning Qing again. Did the cultivators outside become this strong after not going out for tens of thousands of years? Yan Xishuang didn't continue to explain. Instead, she took out a fruit tree that exuded a strong aura of Dao charm and placed it on the deck. "This is a Dao fruit tree. Since you saved me, I promise to give this Dao fruit tree to you. It's a neon light true fruit." Qi Shizingxing immediately recognized it. Ning Cheng's eyes lit up. This was indeed a perfect Dao fruit tree. The tree was 30 feet tall, and what made it even more precious was that it had more than 100 neon light true fruits. Ning Cheng also knew about the role of the neon light true fruit. It was a very rare Tao fruit and one of the few Tao fruits that could condense the spirit essence of a holy emperor. The neon light true fruit could also be refined into neon light spirit pills, which could assist in cultivation. Generally, after a cultivator successfully reached Tao confirming realm, most of the Tao fruits and medicinal pills would be used to comprehend the Tao charm or comprehend spirit techniques. Medicinal pills were used for healing or to assist in the cultivation of spirit techniques. Few people used medicinal pills to assist in spirit essence cultivation. It wasn't that no one did it, but that there weren't many pills that could assist a saint emperor's divine energy cultivation. Ordinary pills, even if they could help a Tao vindication divine emperor increase their cultivation speed, would still affect their Tao runes. Their strength had increased, but their comprehension of the Tao had decreased. Everyone could clearly distinguish between the gains and losses. However, the Neon God pill refined from the Neon Light True Fruit didn't have this situation. The Neon God pill could help a Tao Vindication Divine Emperor increase their cultivation speed without affecting the Tao aura of the Divine Emperor at all. In other words, if you use the Neon Spirit pill to cultivate, it will not affect your comprehension of the Tao, and it will even deepen your comprehension of your own Tao. Ji He, you're an alchemy master. Hurry up and put away the Tao fruit tree. Qi Shizingxing quickly said to Ning Cheng. Although this Tao fruit tree was important to any sect, he knew that Ning Cheng needed this Tao fruit tree more. As an alchemy master, Ning Cheng naturally needed all kinds of Tao fruits. Maybe he could even become a pill sage. Seeing Ning Cheng put away the Tao fruit tree, Yan Xishuang gave Ning Cheng a puzzled look before glancing at Qi Shizingxing. Qi Shizingxing was a disciple of one of the top 10 sects, so who was this Ji He? Why did he want Ji He to put away the Tao fruit tree? Then, she seemed to remember something and pointed to Qi Shizingxing. I see. You're the son of Profound Moon Spirit Gates sect Master Qi. You got lost in the Grand Essence Mystic Realm 60,000 years ago. Many people had gone into the Grand Essence Mystic Realm and never came out. As the son of a Spirit Gates sect master, and with Qi Shizingxing's fame at that time, most disciples of big sects would know a thing or two about him. Qi Shizingxing smiled, that's me. Yan Xishuang felt a little relieved when she heard that the other party was really Qi Shizingxing. Qi Shizingxing was a disciple of one of the top 10 sects, so he shouldn't do anything to her. She greeted Ning Cheng and Qi Shizingxing before taking the initiative to enter the inner cabin and choose a room to go into seclusion to heal. This harvest is quite good. After you finish the spirit essence transformation, find a way to become a pill sage and let me bask in some glory. Seeing Yan Xishuang leave, Qi Shizingxing smiled. Ning Cheng took out a jade strip and engraved the first bridge of coping spirit technique into the jade strip before handing it to Qi Shizingxing. You can study the first bridge of coping by yourself. I'm going to break that fellow's ring. Pill Sage Min Kong's ring was too complex, and Ning Cheng couldn't break it for a while. As for the half-step Tao sculpting cultivator's ring, Ning Cheng believed that he could easily break it. Qi Shizingxing grabbed Ning Cheng's jade strip and quickly sat down to study the first bridge of coping. If he learned such a famous spirit technique, how much face would he gain? The starry sky wheel was still flying away, but the two half-step Tao sculpting cultivators had long since disappeared. Ning Cheng also easily broke the cultivator's ring, which had been swallowed by his first bridge of coping. When Ning Cheng saw the mountain of divine grasses inside the cultivator's ring, he couldn't help but marvel. Most of these divine grasses were low-level or mid-level, with very few high-level divine grasses. But this fellow was different from him. Ning Cheng had obtained Pill Sage Min Kong's medicine garden, but this fellow had slowly found his way into the Grand Essence Mystic Realm. No, Ning Cheng quickly understood something. He immediately thought of Xiongcang. This fellow didn't find so many divine grasses by himself. Rather, just like Xiongcang, he killed other cultivators to snatch the divine grasses. Sure enough, Ning Cheng found a pile of rings at the corner of the ring. Ning Cheng smiled. Even if he obtained a lot, it all belonged to him now. A few more days passed, and Ning Cheng had already sorted out the divine grasses. At the same time, the pressure in the surrounding space had also increased. It looks like Qi Shizingxing was right. The time had come, and the suppression of the grand essence mystic realm's heaven and earth laws had also increased. Yan Xishuang also walked out of the inner cabin. Her injuries had already healed by 70 to 80%. Seeing Yan Xishuang come over, Qi Shizingxing reluctantly put away the first bridge of coping jade strip. After Yan Xishuang came out, she thanked Ning Cheng and Qi Shizingxing once again. But now that her strength had recovered, she understood that Ning Cheng and Qi Shizingxing were truly upright. After making a deal with her, they didn't go back on their word. We're here. I've been trapped in this place for 60,000 years. I can't wait to get out. Qi Shizingxing's spiritual consciousness swept towards the teleportation array in the distance. He then stood up and laughed. Ning Cheng put down the starry sky wheel. After Yan Xishuang and Qi Shizingxing went out, he was just about to put away the starry sky wheel when he suddenly froze. He then saw that familiar pretty figure again. Chapter 892. Ning Cheng didn't even think about it and immediately flew in front of the woman. This female cultivator wore a veil over her face, which not only covered her face but also concealed her aura and cultivation. As he approached, Ning Cheng looked at this female cultivator and felt that she was Shi Qianghua. However, even when he stood in front of her, she didn't feel anything. That's right, I should have changed my appearance to Ji He. Thinking of this, Ning Cheng quickly asked, do you know the sifting orchid star? Fuck off. With a shout, an extremely powerful domain-imposing aura pressed down on Ning Cheng, forcing him to take a dozen steps back before coming to a stop. Ning Cheng then saw the tall female cultivator standing next to the veiled female cultivator. He also knew this woman. Her name was Shuri Shuang. This woman seemed to like saying, fuck off. In Peng Ruimei's words, she seemed to feel that her flesh was different from others. Wait, Shuri Shuang's surname was Shi, and she was from the 9 Revolutions sacred Dao Pond. Coupled with Qionghua's surname, she had undergone 9 reincarnations. Was this Shuri Shuang Qionghua's younger sister, and this veiled woman was Qionghua? Ning Cheng couldn't care about it anymore and quickly walked over. You're looking for death. Shuri Shuang raised her hand, and a red half-moon ring appeared over her head. At the same time, several female cultivators from the 9 Revolutions sacred Dao Pond came over. Powerful killing power gathered, and Ning Cheng suddenly woke up and calmed down in an instant. He was Ji He now, not Ning Cheng. Moreover, he couldn't clash with the 9 Revolutions sacred Dao Pond right now. Even if Qianghua knew him, he couldn't acknowledge Shi Qianghua. The woman in front of him had a veil over her face, but she had no impression of the sifting orchid star. If the other party was truly Qianghua, she would never forget the sifting orchid star. Either she wasn't Qianghua, or someone had sealed her memory or taken it away. What, are you bullying us with numbers? Qi Shizingxing was a step behind Ning Cheng. Seeing Ning Cheng sneak attacked by Shuri Shuang and surrounded by the people from the 9 Revolutions sacred Dao Pond, he immediately felt unhappy. Shuri Shuang didn't know who Qi Shizingxing was. Moreover, her side was much stronger than Qi Shizingxing. How could she fear Qi Shizingxing and Ning Cheng? I'm just bullying you with numbers. You're not convinced. If you dare to stay here, I will immediately kill you. Let's see if I dare or not, Shuri Shuang sneered disdainfully and said in a mocking tone. He was just a rogue cultivator. He didn't know which sect he used to enter the Grand Essence mystic realm, but he still dared to talk to the 9 Revolutions sacred Dao Pond. At that moment, more and more cultivators gathered outside the teleportation array. All of them gathered around to watch the show. All the cultivators who knew Shuri Shuang knew that she posed no threat. Since she said that she dared to kill Qi Shizingxing and Ning Cheng, then she truly meant it. Moreover, after killing him, there was no ripple at all. Qi Shizingxing's expression turned ugly. He, Qi Shizingxing, was the junior sect master of one of the top 10 major sections. When had he ever been looked down upon like this? Isn't your 9 revolutions sacred Dao Pond too overbearing? This place belongs to your 9 revolutions sacred Dao Pond. They couldn't let him stand here. If he stood here, he would still be killed. Since I'm standing here today, it looks like I'm also going to die. Yan Xishuang's cold voice rang out as she stood beside Ning Cheng and Qi Shizingxing. Yan Xishuang and Shuri Shuang both had the word Shuang in their names, and both looked a bit cold. In Ning Cheng's view, they were 2 completely different types of coldness. Shuri Shuang always thought of herself as superior to others, while Yan Xishuang just had a cold personality. Seeing Yan Xishuang stand up, the disciples of the 7-star sacred shrine also stood up immediately, forming a vague confrontation. Shuri Shuang's expression turned ugly. She could look down on Ning Cheng and Qi Shizingxing, but she couldn't look down on Yan Xishuang. The 7-star sacred shrine wasn't only one of the top 10 sects, but it was also one of the top 3 sacred shrines. Yan Xishuang, I just said that I killed 2 ants. What does this matter have to do with you? Do you want to shift the blame onto yourself? Shuri Shuang spoke with an unhappy tone. Yan Xishuang showed a disdainful smile, killed 2 ants. I'm afraid that even if they stood in front of you and let you kill them, you wouldn't dare, right? The red half-moon ring over Shuri Shuang's head suddenly buzzed, and bursts of killing intent overflowed from it. If Shuri Shuang had threatened Qi Shizingxing and Ning Cheng before, then because of Yan Xishuang's words, she truly wanted to kill them. If Ning Cheng didn't know Yan Xishuang's character, he would have thought that Yan Xishuang deliberately stirred up trouble. Qi Shizingxing, on seeing Shuri Shuang's killing intent, turned around and shouted to the crowd of cultivators, I'm Profound Moon Spirit Gates Qi Shizingxing. Since I've been trapped in the Grand Essence Mystic Realm for 60,000 years, don't tell me my Profound Moon Spirit Gate doesn't have anyone left. Junior Sect Master. Before Qi Shizingxing reported his name, everyone wasn't sure about it. But now that Qi Shizingxing said his name, the disciples of Profound Moon Spirit Gate immediately recognized him. In just a few breaths, more than a dozen cultivators flew over and landed in front of Qi Shizingxing before greeting him. Shuri Shuang's expressions turned ugly. She didn't expect that a random person would turn out to be the junior sect master of one of the top 10 sections. No matter how powerful she was, she wouldn't dare to say that she would kill Profound Essence Spirit Gates Qi Shizingxing in front of so many cultivators. Moreover, the 9 revolutions sacred Dao Pond wasn't that powerful. Bitch, is the 9 revolutions sacred Dao Pond that great? Bah! Qi Shizingxing spat out in displeasure. Even if Shuri Shuang could endure it, she couldn't stand Qi Shizingxing's arrogance. What's more, she wasn't a person who could endure it. She had always been the one to look down on others. When did others call her a bitch to her face? Her domain opened up in a frenzy, and a great battle was about to break out. At this moment, a half-step Dao sculpting female cultivator standing behind Shuri Shuang stopped Shuri Shuang, junior apprentice Sister Shuang, we can't start first. Shuri Shuang, who was still angry, calmed down a bit after hearing such a thing. Ning Cheng also stopped Qi Shizingxing in time. If it were any other sect, he would have helped Qi Shizingxing if he wanted to. But he was almost convinced that this was the place where Qianghua came from. No matter what, he couldn't afford to fight. If he really did that, it would only make things difficult for Qianghua in the future. Since both sides were stopped, a melee naturally wouldn't happen again. Qi Shizingxing had already been surrounded by the Profound Moon Spirit Gates cultivators, who asked him why he had been trapped for so many years. Ning Cheng's gaze moved away from the female cultivator with a veil over her face. He had to go to the 9 revolving sacred Dao Pond in the future, but not now. Regardless of whether the female cultivator with a veil over her face was Qianghua or not, he couldn't do anything about it right now. Qi Shixingsing finally explained the reason why he had been trapped in the Grand Essence mystic realm for 60,000 years. He then immediately ran to Ning Cheng and patted Ning Cheng on the shoulder to comfort him. The women from the 9 revolving sacred Dao pond might be beautiful, but there's no need to care about them. After saying that, he glanced at Yan Xishuang, hinting that Yan Xishuang was much more beautiful than Shuri Shuang. Ning Cheng smiled but didn't explain. In the next few days, more and more cultivators came here. Ning Cheng also felt the pressure on the periphery growing. Under this kind of pressure, even cultivators who didn't know the way would take the initiative to come here. As more and more cultivators gathered at the teleportation array finally opened. Ning Cheng counted and found that the number of cultivators who came here was far less than 10,000. From the looks of it, some of them died in the Grand Essence mystic realm. Ning Cheng also didn't see Xiongcang, who had asked him to join them. Ning Cheng didn't feel surprised that Xiongcang didn't come out. Xiongcang's strength was average, but he still wanted to rob the divine grasses. Maybe he had some trump cards on him, but how many of the cultivators who entered the Grand Essence mystic realm were simple? If you always walked by the river, your shoes would eventually get wet. Therefore, Ning Cheng didn't expect him to die. Similarly, Ning Cheng didn't see any of the cultivators who entered Pil Sage Min Kong's medicinal garden with him. From the looks of it, that group of people had met with misfortune. The 9th prince didn't come out. A low voice sounded not far from Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng calmly looked over and saw several cultivators with a strong aura of seawater. At a glance, he could tell that they came from the Grand Essence Sea. The 9th prince had fallen in the Grand Essence mystic realm. No matter what the reason was, no one would ask about it at this time. The Barbarian Dragon clan had a Dao perfection powerhouse. Even the sacred academies didn't want to have anything to do with this matter. After the teleportation array opened, many cultivators teleported out. Ning Cheng and Qi Shixingsing also followed the disciples of the profound moon spirit gate out. The place where Ning Cheng teleported out was still the same place where Ning Cheng had entered. A year ago, when Ning Cheng entered this place, it had been a wilderness. Only the residences of the major sects remained here, and it wasn't very lively. A year later, Ning Cheng teleported out, and this place had become much livelier. The wilderness had turned into a large public square, with 3 platforms for counting divine grasses placed in the middle of the public square. The residences of the major sects were around these 3 platforms for counting divine grasses, ready to receive the divine grasses or give out rewards. As soon as Qi Shixingsing came out, people from the profound moon spirit gate swarmed around him. Qi Shixingsing had been trapped in the mystic realm for 60,000 years, but he still managed to come out. This naturally made the profound moon spirit gate happy. Ning Cheng knew that Qi Shixingsing had a lot to say to the sect, but he didn't go over to join in the fun. Instead, he stood quietly on the side. Several powerful spiritual consciousnesses swept over him before sweeping over again. Ning Cheng looked calm on the surface. He didn't use his spiritual consciousness to find Man Huishan's location. Instead, he felt sure that Man Huishan was checking every cultivator who came out of the mystic realm. Moreover, Man Huishan should have already learned about the news of 9th Prince Man Juran's death in the Grand Essence mystic realm the moment the first batch of people teleported out. Even Qi Shixingsing would have most likely been scanned by Man Huishan's spiritual consciousness several times. Ning Cheng felt more and more spiritual consciousnesses falling on him, which made him feel a little worried. He was a Dao sculpting pill emperor. Although he could use the characteristics of the form-changing pill and the mysterious yellow formless cultivation method to perfectly transform himself, he now faced a Dao essence powerhouse. Once discovered, it would be disastrous for him. After all, apart from Qi Shixingsing, he had no other cards. If Man Huishan wanted to take him away by force, he wouldn't even have the ability to resist. Chapter 893. Ji he, Ji he. Qi Shixingsing finally squeezed out of the encirclement and kept waving at Ningcheng. Shixingsing, is he the pill emperor Ji he who was trapped with you for 60,000 years? A woman with phoenix eyes followed Qi Shixingsing and asked Ningcheng. Although this female cultivator didn't extend her domain, Ningcheng could feel a majestic and powerful aura from her. This female cultivator with phoenix eyes most likely wasn't a Dao sculpting holy emperor. Instead, she might be a powerhouse that surpassed Dao sculpting holy emperors. Qi Shixingsing patted Ningcheng on the shoulder and said to the female cultivator with phoenix eyes, "Yes, he's Ji he, the one who experienced life and death with me." After that, he said to Ningcheng, "Ji he, this is my elder sister, Qi Yuling. Every time the Grand Essence Mystic Realm opens, my sister would come here to inquire about me. This time, I didn't let her down. I finally came out." Hearing Qi Shixingsing's words, Ningcheng understood that Qi Yuling cared a lot about Qi Shixingsing. "Ji he greets Sister Yuling." Ningcheng quickly bowed. Qi Yuling showed a sincere smile on her face. "Ji he, thank you for accompanying 13 in the mystic realm for so many years. You will also be my younger brother in the future." "Yuling, who is this?" A man's deep voice arrived. At this time, Ningcheng felt very careful. As soon as the man came over, he saw him. This was a man who didn't look very old. He had long hair tied into a simple cultivator bun and wore purple robes. The skin on his face was a bit rough, and his eyebrows were thick. Moreover, the aura coming from him felt even stronger than Qi Yuling. Most likely, his cultivation was also higher than Qi Yuling's. "Big brother he's Ji he, a tier 8 pill emperor from the Pill Association. He's a good friend of my younger brother 13. The two of them entered the mystic realm together, and this time, the two of them escaped together." Qi Yuling immediately showed a happy expression on her face when she saw the purple-robed man coming over. The purple-robed man smiled at Ningcheng and said, "So it's Pill Emperor Ji he. My name is Wei he, and I'm from the Grand Essence Domain's Battle Shore Cliffs Wei clan. I welcome you and 13 to the Battle Shore Cliff." Wei he had an excellent demeanor. At least, Ningcheng didn't feel a trace of disdain for rogue cultivators from his tone. Although Ji he was a level 8 alchemy emperor recognized by the Elixir Association, he was still a rogue cultivator. At this moment, all the cultivators who had not died in the mystic realm had basically been teleported out. Qi Yuling spoke to Ningcheng. 13 said that you want to compete in the mystic realm. Ningcheng nodded and said, "Yes, I want to see if I can get a spot in the Grand Essence Great Meet." Wei he spoke up from the side, "I'm afraid it'll be difficult. Thousands of people entered the Grand Essence Mystic Realm. It won't be easy to rush into the top 10. He had been to the Grand Essence Mystic Realm before, so he naturally knew about the Grand Essence Mystic Realm. During normal times, the Grand Essence Mystic Realm exerted a tremendous world-suppressive force on cultivators. Don't look at Ningcheng and Qi Shixingsing being trapped in the Mystic Realm for 60,000 years. But he felt sure that the two of them didn't search for 60,000-year-old divine grasses inside. Instead, he struggled to survive inside for 60,000 years. As for the harvest of divine grasses, he might not even be as good as some ordinary cultivators. "I'm just trying my luck." Ningcheng smiled. "Then go ahead. I wish you good luck," Qi Yuling said with a smile. Ningcheng signaled that he didn't need Qi Shixingsing to accompany him and walked towards the middle of the public square alone. After talking to Qi Shixingsing, Qi Yuling and Wei he for a while, Ningcheng felt that the spiritual consciousness that had fallen on him had disappeared. Most likely, there was no longer any doubt about his identity as Ji he. Thousands of cultivators stood in front of the divine grasses counting platform. They came here purely to display the divine grasses they obtained and then exchange them for spirit pills, Dao fruits, sect task points, spirit techniques, and so on. Some even wanted to exchange for points from the Grand Essence ruins. But not many cultivators wanted to rush into the top 10 like Ning Cheng. Most cultivators knew that with their abilities, even if they managed to reach the top 10 in terms of the number of divine grasses they obtained, they wouldn't be able to get any results in the great meet. Generally, cultivators with the same thoughts as Ning Cheng wouldn't stand in front of the group but on the side. At this time, the more divine grasses one displayed, the more likely one would be to win. Many cultivators had the same thoughts as Ning Cheng and didn't want to take out all the divine grasses they obtained. After all, 1/5 of the divine grasses taken out would end up in someone else's hands. The more divine grasses displayed, the more would disappear. An ordinary old man with a ruddy face stood up and landed in front of the 3 divine grasses counting platforms. He then cupped his fists and said, "Tao friends who came out of the Grand Essence Mystic Realm, thank you for your hard work. I believe that everyone has gained something. The divine grasses handed over this time are the same as before. After the display and counting, you will have to hand over 1/5 of the divine grasses to the sect you represent. We will collect them on your behalf. The rest can be exchanged for the items you need at the sect you represent or at other sections. But remember, you can only exchange the divine grasses you display for items." This old man didn't have any Tao charm fluctuations. But when Ning Cheng's gaze fell on this old man, he felt a sense of fear. He felt that this old man's cultivation was even higher than Man Huishan's. The first to hand over the divine grasses was a middle-aged female cultivator. She stood on the first divine grasses counting platform. Ning Cheng noticed that after the cultivator counting the divine grasses checked the female cultivator's ring, a row of words appeared on the array formation display behind the platform. First place, Big Dipper 7 Peaks Wuxia Chronicles, obtained 160 low-rank divine grasses, 70 middle-rank divine grasses, and 11 high-rank divine grasses. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness fell on Wu Xuanjing's ring. Her ring didn't have any restrictions on it. Therefore, Ning Cheng could easily see that when the cultivator counting the divine grasses counted her divine grasses and returned the ring to her, he also took away 1/5 of the divine grasses in her ring. Ning Cheng guessed that this 1/5 wasn't just for the sect. A large part of it should have been given to the organization of the Grand Essence Mystic Realm. The sect should have benefited from Wu Xianjing using the remaining 4/5 of the divine grasses to exchange for items with the sect. As more and more cultivators counted the divine grasses, the cultivator in the first place on the display screen had obtained 300 low-rank divine grasses, 160 middle-rank divine grasses, and 30 high-rank divine grasses. Ning Cheng watched for a long time but didn't see anyone hand over anything more precious than high-rank divine grasses. For example, Tao fruits or treasures like the divine chalcedony Ning Cheng obtained. With so many cultivators counting the divine grasses they obtained, it was impossible for none of them to obtain anything good. Most likely, even if they obtained something good, no one would take it out. The cultivator in charge of counting the divine grasses also acquiesced in this situation. Most of the cultivators who counted the divine grasses would take the rest of the divine grasses to their respective sects to exchange for items. Only a few rogue cultivators would choose to exchange for items with other sections. After half a day, there were only a few cultivators standing in line on the public square counting the divine grasses. Some of the cultivators who wanted to snatch the top 10 also began to count the divine grasses they obtained. Ning Cheng then looked at the huge display array formation. Behind the cultivator who harvested the most divine grasses, there were already 870 low-level divine grasses, 200 mid-level divine grasses, 70 high-level divine grasses, and a million-year-old golden flame beehive. Ning Cheng secretly remembered the cultivator with the golden flame hive. He planned to exchange with this person later. His void-exploding golden wasps grew too slowly. Even now, they were only equivalent to Starry Sky Grade 2 demonic beasts, which was a pitifully low level. If he gave this hive to the void-exploding golden wasps, combined with his medicinal pills, he could help his void-exploding golden wasps advance to Starry Sky Grade 7 in a short time. Ning Qing didn't wait any longer. He took out 940 low-rank divine grasses, 300 middle-rank divine grasses, and 93 high-rank divine grasses. As for divine chalcedony and Tao fruits, he didn't take out any of them. Moreover, the high-rank divine grasses he took out were all ordinary. As for the high-rank ones, some of them were even comparable to Tao fruits. Ning Qing also didn't take them out. Ji He's name soon appeared in the first place on the Mystic Realm's Divine Grasses harvesting display screen, while the cultivator with the Golden Flame Hive ranked second. Although the Golden Flame Hive was precious, it had too many restrictions. Moreover, Ning Qing took out far more high-rank and middle-rank divine grasses than this cultivator. Naturally, he ranked first without exception. As soon as Ji He appeared, many people noticed him. Soon, the news of Ji He being trapped in the Grand Essence Mystic Realm for 60,000 years spread out. Kai Xian, not only did Ji He not die, but he also got first place. At the edge of the public square, a green-robed woman spoke up in a soft voice. Standing next to the green-robed woman was a female cultivator in a pink robe. She had fair skin, shoulder-length hair, and an oval face with willow leaf eyebrows. She looked very pretty. Even without the green-robed woman's words, the pink-robed female cultivator named Kai Xian had already noticed Ning Qing. But she kept frowning and didn't know how to deal with this matter. Kai Xian. Seeing the pink-robed female cultivator not answer her question, the green-robed woman reminded her again. Some things had to be faced. The pink-robed female cultivator recovered and slowly said, "He's just temporarily first. It's nothing." A deep voice came over, "Kai Xian, although Ji He is temporarily first, with the divine grasses he obtained in the mystic realm, it shouldn't be a problem for him to reach the top 10. Meitzen clan has never won a place in the Grand Essence Great Meet for so many years. Besides, since he can take out so many divine grasses, he must have left a lot on him." The pink-robed female cultivator was Ji He's fiancée, Tsin Kai Xian, just as Ning Qing guessed. The Tsin clan had only taken a fancy to Ji He's talent in alchemy, which was why they promised to marry Ji He. Later, Ji He died in the mystic realm, and the Tsin clan had long since put this matter aside. "Eldest uncle, I know. But if I go to him, what would Hauge think? He would definitely feel uncomfortable in his heart." Tsin Kai Xian bit her lip and looked at a middle-aged man walking over. The middle-aged man looked at Ning Cheng's position and spoke in a low voice, "Ji He has great potential. Despite being trapped in the mystic realm for tens of thousands of years, his foundation is still there. Moreover, he has a good relationship with profound moon spirit gates Qi Shizingsing. Although Gua Hauge is one of the 12 sacred children, I'm afraid he wouldn't put our Tsin clan in his eyes. It's hard to say how sincere he is with you. But..." Tsin Kai Xian felt hesitant. Gua Hauge was indeed ugly. But if she had to choose, she would choose Gua Hauge without hesitation. A Tao companion of one of the 12 sacred children. Not to mention that Gua Hauge came from River Luo's sacred sect. As for Ji He, he was a rigid alchemy machine that couldn't be any more rigid. Being with him didn't make her happy at all. Chapter 894. The middle-aged man sighed when he heard Tsin Saishuan's hesitation. "Maybe it's not about us choosing others, but whether others will care about this matter. That Ji He has been here for so long, it's impossible for him not to know that you're here. Yet, he still hasn't come here to see you." Hearing this, Tsin Kai Xian suddenly realized something. No matter how dull Ji He was, he should have come to see her in this place. Why hadn't he come here yet? At this moment, the display of spiritual grasses came to an end. Ning Qing took 5th place with 940 low-rank divine grasses, 300 mid-rank divine grasses, and 93 high-rank divine grasses. He also obtained a qualification card to participate in the Grand Essence Great Meet. After Ning Qing handed over 1/5 of the divine grasses, he didn't plan to exchange the rest of the divine grasses for anything else. As a Tao sculpting pill deity, he naturally wanted more divine grasses. Some sects or individuals wanted to buy the extra divine grasses in Ning Cheng's hands, but Ning Cheng rejected them all. Some people even came to buy Ning Cheng's qualification card to participate in the Grand Essence Great Meet, but Ning Cheng naturally rejected them. He paid so many divine grasses for this qualification card, so how could he give it away? Ning Cheng put away the qualification card, and Qi Shixingsing came over with a smile. Congratulations on getting what you wanted. With your strength, you shouldn't have any problems entering the extraterritorial spirit spring. But there's one thing you need to do right now. What is it? Ning Cheng looked at Qi Shixingsing in confusion. Qi Shixingsing smiled again and whispered, "Your fiancé Cin Kaixian is looking at you, which means that the Cin clan hasn't completely forgotten about you. Regardless of whether the Cin clan has forgotten about you or not, you haven't gone there since you came out of the mystic realm. It's a big problem. Whether it's an act or not, you should go there. Otherwise, it will only raise suspicions. You don't have to care about your fiancé. I've asked her about her. She and Guahauga, one of the Grand Essence's 12 sacred children, have a good relationship. She doesn't care about your life or death." Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness followed the direction Qi Shixingsing pointed and saw Cin Kaixian looking in his direction. He didn't want to talk nonsense with this woman, but he was still in danger. He couldn't let others doubt him over such a trivial matter. Just when Ning Cheng was about to go over, his expression suddenly froze. "What's wrong?" Qi Shixingsing found something wrong with Ning Cheng and quickly asked. "I saw Chu Bai of the Grand Essence's 12 sacred children. That kid didn't die. It looks like he has a few tricks up his sleeve." Ning Cheng replied with a sound transmission. With the human-faced poison centipede chasing after him, he thought that Chu Bai and Hua Erqi must have been killed by the human-faced poison centipede. Only now did he realize that Chu Bai was still alive. It seemed that Hua Erqi was not necessarily dead. The Grand Essence's 12 sacred children all have their own trump cards. Maybe they could escape with just a talisman. It's normal that they didn't die. Qi Shixingsing explained with a sound transmission. Ning Cheng nodded, and his spiritual consciousness swept through the 9 revolutions sacred Tao pond again. But this time, he didn't see the woman with the veil over her face. "I'm going over. You don't have to worry about it." Ning Cheng motioned to Qi Shixingsing not to worry about him and took the initiative to walk towards Cin Kaixian. "Remember, Ji he is a bit dull in front of his fiancée. Don't talk too much." Qi Shixingsing couldn't help but send a message behind Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng hadn't even reached the Cin clan station when the middle-aged man greeted him with a smile. "Ji he, it's a great joy that you can come out of the mystic realm again. That's great. After this matter, you and Kaixian can go to the Cin clan's corner city to celebrate. In fact, Kaixian wanted to come to you a long time ago. But she was afraid that it would affect your display of divine grasses. That's why she waited until now. Ji he greets Senior Taiha." Ning Cheng quickly cupped his fists. Qi Shixingsing had already introduced some of the main figures of the Cin clan. This middle-aged male cultivator's name was Cin Taiha, Cin Saishuan's uncle. Cin Taiha saw Ning Cheng's greeting and was about to speak when he saw Ning Cheng's gaze fall on Cin Kaixian behind him. But before he could feel surprised, he heard a slightly soft voice. "Kaixian, the Grand Essence Great Meet is about to begin. You and I will go to the Heaven Essence Sacred City first. I'll take you to the Heaven Essence auction house to see if there's anything you like." As soon as Cin Taiha heard this voice, he didn't even need to look. His heart sank. He knew that Guahauga of the Grand Essence's 12 sacred children had arrived. This Guahauga didn't come early or late. Instead, he came at such a good time. Cin Kaixian looked at Guahauga in surprise. She didn't expect Guahauga to treat her so gently today. Even if Guahauga had thin eyes and dark skin, he still looked very handsome in her eyes at this moment. No matter how many spiritual grasses he had, could he compare to Guahauga? River Luo sacred sect's disciple, one of the Grand Essence's 12 sacred children. Ning Cheng's eyes showed a hint of disappointment as he stared at Sun Caishian angrily. But in his heart, he felt relieved. Finally, he found an excuse to not come here. This he really didn't have a good eye. To think that he found such a fickle woman. However, Ning Cheng soon felt that something was wrong. Guahauga's gaze towards him seemed to contain a hint of provocation and ridicule. Seeing Guahauga take the initiative to hold Sun Caishuan's hand after he saw her, Ning Cheng instantly understood that this kid had deliberately come here to annoy him. In other words, even if I take your fiancé, what can you do to me? Seeing Sun Caishuan's happy expression, Ning Cheng guessed that Guahauga shouldn't have been this enthusiastic towards Sun Caishian. It seems that Guahauga didn't come out of the mystic realm because he felt the crisis of pursuing Sun Caishian. That is, someone asked him to do this. He had just come out of the mystic realm. Moreover, he had always kept a low profile. How could he have any enemies? Ning Cheng's gaze fell on the 9 revolutions sacred Dao pond. Sure enough, he saw Shuri Shuang looking at him with a contemptuous look. Understanding that it was Shuri Shuang's ghost, Ning Cheng just sneered in his heart. He wasn't He. He didn't care about his fiancé or anyone else. As for Shuri Shuang, he directly ignored her. His wife was Shi Qianghua, not Shuri Shuang. Sun Taiha looked at Ning Cheng and Guahauga awkwardly. At this moment, he didn't dare to say anything. He could afford to offend him, but the Sun clan couldn't afford to offend any of the Grand Essence's 12 sacred children. You must be He, right? Congratulations on getting a qualification card for the Grand Essence Great Meet. The Grand Essence Great Meet is very dangerous. It's not a place for children to play. I heard that you know Caishian. Why don't I help you sell this qualification card? It's just a hot thing to hold in your hand. Guahauga saw Ning Cheng's gaze falling on him and spoke with a sarcastic tone. Sun Caishian had long since sobered up from that happiness, but her face still looked a little ugly. In any case, she was still He's fiancé. But now, she held hands with another man in front of her fiancé, which was a bit too much. She wanted to get rid of Guahauga's hand, but she also felt a little reluctant. Moreover, Guahauga also held on tightly. Seeing Guahauga's expression, Ning Cheng even wanted to laugh. He immediately thought of a person, Song Jiang from the water margin. Dark, short, and ugly. Ning Cheng wanted to ridicule him back, but when he thought of He's stoic character, he gave up. Seeing Ning Cheng turn around and leave slowly, Sun Caishian suddenly felt a sense of guilt and emptiness in her heart. Guahauga laughed, I'll also participate in this great meet. In case I meet you on the Heaven Essence Sacred City's battle stage, I promise to spare your life for Caishuan's sake. He had been entrusted by someone to ridicule He. Otherwise, with his identity as one of the Grand Essence's 12 sacred children, he wouldn't have done such a boring thing. As for Sun Caishian, if he wanted to, he would have done it a long time ago. Ning Cheng stopped and looked at Guahauga with a smile. It's not your fault that you're ugly, but it's not right for you to scare people with your face. From this, you can see how much your father loves you. He didn't stick you to the wall at that moment but gave you a way out. In just a short period of time, how could Guahauga hear Ning Cheng's classic swearing words? He had not yet reacted, when Ning Cheng suddenly looked up at the sky, and then looked at Guahauga with a smile and spoke, My heart is towards the bright moon, but the bright moon is also. Before he finished speaking, the smile on Ning Cheng's face instantly disappeared. He then turned around and quickly left. Guahauga was one of the 12 sacred children and was nurtured by the River Luo sacred sect. Naturally, he wasn't a fool. Even if he hadn't experienced the classic swearing words from Earth, he still reacted after thinking about it for a long time. He never thought that someone could curse someone with such vicious words without any poison in them. "You're looking for death." After hearing Ning Cheng's words, Guahauga felt truly enraged by Ning Cheng's words, and his murderous aura suddenly overflowed. "What, do you want to fight? I'll accompany you." Qi Shixingsing walked over when he saw Guahauga. Seeing Qi Shixingsing, Guahauga's anger suddenly calmed down. He wasn't afraid of Qi Shixingsing, but he didn't dare to fight here. Even if he was one of the 12 sacred children, he couldn't do it in this place. Seeing Guahauga not daring to continue, Qi Shixingsing snorted in disdain. He then patted Ning Cheng's shoulder and said with a smile, "Ji He, why didn't you finish that sentence just now? That sentence sounded beautiful, but what about the bright moon?" Ning Cheng pretended to sigh, "But the bright moon also shines on feces." "Ha!" Qi Shixingsing covered his stomach and laughed. He really didn't know how Ning Cheng thought of it. Thinking about Ning Cheng treating the 12 sacred children as feces, Qi Shixingsing couldn't help but laugh. Not only Qi Shixingsing, but even the people around him, who heard those words, also laughed. Guahauga's face turned livid with anger. He had already regarded Ning Cheng as a dead man in his heart. Even if Ning Cheng hid in the profound moon spirit gate, as long as he dared to go to Heaven Essence Sacred City to participate in the Grand Essence Great Meet, he would have a way to kill Ning Cheng. Knowing that he couldn't do anything to Ning Cheng here, Guahauga, who almost vomited blood out of anger, turned around and left. Sun Taiha looked at Guahauga's departing back and sighed. For him, even if Ji He wanted to return to the Tsin clan, he wouldn't dare to accept it. After offending Guahauga, would his Tsin clan dare to have anything to do with Ji He? Chapter 895. Ji He, I want to go back to the profound moon god gate. Why don't you come with me to the profound moon god gate, then? Ning Cheng interrupted Qi Shixingsing's words, "I'm going to Heaven Essence Sacred City. You can go back first. 1 month later, if you have time, you can come to Heaven Essence Sacred City to watch my match. If you don't have time, I will come to Profound Moon Spirit Gate to look for you." Ning Cheng understood the meaning behind Qi Shixingsing's words. Moreover, Qi Shixingsing's scolding just now had brought him a lot of joy. However, it also exposed some things. Previously, even if Guahauga pointed at Ji He's nose and scolded him, he would probably have to swallow his anger. But now, not only did he curse back, he almost made Guahauga vomit blood. Ordinary people might think that Ji He's personality had changed after being trapped in the Grand Essence Mystic Realm for so many years. If it was someone with a heart, they would probably think more. Thinking about it, if he was really Ji He, being insulted by Guahauga while pointing at his nose, no matter how much he endured, his Tao heart would probably have problems. However, Ning Cheng wasn't Ji He. Ji He was a capable person, so he couldn't bear it. Furthermore, since he managed to escape with the help of the dead Ji He, he should help Ji He vent some of his anger. Qi Shixingsing wanted him to go to the Profound Moon Spirit Gate because he didn't want any accidents to happen. Since Qi Shixingsing hadn't returned for a long time, Ning Cheng knew that he would have a lot of things to take care of once he returned. Besides, there was only 1 month left before the Grand Essence Great Meet. Taking advantage of this month, he might as well stay in Heaven Essence Sacred City and rest. "Well, I'll rush to Heaven Essence Sacred City to meet you as soon as possible." Qi Shixingsing, on seeing Ning Cheng make up his mind, had no choice but to agree. The Heaven Essence Sacred City was the premier sacred city of the Grand Essence domain. No one would dare to do anything here, not even sneak around. Since Ning Cheng was in Heaven Essence Sacred City, there shouldn't be any danger. Therefore, Qi Shixingsing felt at ease. After separating from Qi Shixingsing, Ning Cheng found that the cultivator with the flame hive had long since left. Ning Cheng was not in a hurry. There were not many people who needed the golden flame hive, as this thing had limited uses. That cultivator also ranked in the top 10 for divine grasses. That fellow would definitely go to Heaven Essence Sacred City. As long as Ning Cheng went to Heaven Essence Sacred City, he would be able to find this person. His only worry was that the other party might have traded the Golden Flame Beehive for something else. Ning Cheng also didn't stay here for long. He brought out a flight-type weapon and rushed towards the Heaven Essence Sacred City. He had rushed to the Heaven Essence Sacred City alone to see if Man Huishan would notice anything wrong. If Man Huishan really chased after him, he would immediately activate the Breaking Boundary Talisman and leave this place. He did not have the qualifications to resist a primordial Dao expert. To Ning Cheng's relief, not only did Man Huishan not chase after them, but even Guohauge also didn't chase after them. A few days later, Ning Cheng smoothly arrived at Heaven Essence Sacred City. This was the first time Ning Cheng saw such a lively place after entering the Grand Essence realm. Even the Grand Essence Ruins public square wasn't as lively as the Heaven Essence Sacred City. Even before entering the city gates, the holy city's periphery was already densely packed with cultivators. The Heaven Essence Sacred City looked like a floating city, surrounded by floating clouds. One couldn't even see the slightest trace of a defensive array at the edge of the sacred city. Ning Cheng knew that these floating clouds and the edges of the hazy city were protected by top-grade array formations. He couldn't see any traces because his array Dao level wasn't high enough. After landing a few dozen miles away from the Heaven Essence Sacred City, Ning Cheng put away the flight-type weapon. Outside the Heaven Essence Sacred City, there was no forbidden space restriction. In a place without any forbidden space restriction, Ning Cheng didn't see a single person flying. As a middle-stage eternal cultivator, he naturally didn't dare to act rashly. He put away the flight-type weapon and walked into the Heaven Essence Sacred City like the other cultivators on the White Jade Road. The closer he got to the Heaven Essence Sacred City, the more Ning Cheng could feel the rich spirit qi. Ning Cheng sighed in his heart. If he could live in such a sacred city for a long time, he would get twice the results with half the effort. He guessed that it wouldn't be easy to live in such a sacred city. After an incense stick worth of time, Ning Cheng stood at the entrance of the Heaven Essence Sacred City. Above the city gate, 4 words floated in the void, Heaven Essence Sacred City. As for the entrance fee, Ning Cheng paid 100 high-grade spirit crystals. This was the most expensive entrance fee Ning Cheng had ever seen. Before coming here, Ning Cheng worried about finding a place to live. After all, he had experienced this kind of thing too many times. Every time a big event was held, the rest stops were always the most tense. After entering the Heaven Essence Sacred City for a while, Ning Cheng understood that his worries were true. At this time, in the Heaven Essence Sacred City, not to mention the rest stops, even the rest stops and restaurants were overcrowded with people. The sacred city was extremely spacious, and each street looked like a continuous public square. But no matter how spacious the streets were, one couldn't sleep or meditate on them. With Ning Cheng's cultivation, it wouldn't be a problem for him to wander around the streets for a month. The Grand Essence Great Meet was coming soon, and he had to participate in the competition. Therefore, he naturally had to find a place to rest. He couldn't just wander around here for a month. Big brother Ji He, why are you here? Aren't you? A surprised voice sounded, and a female cultivator quickly appeared in front of Ning Cheng. However, this female cultivator's surprise only lasted for a moment. After that, she seemed to feel a little abrupt and even lowered her head. This female cultivator wore a gray robe and had a fair complexion. She had thick eyebrows, but a trace of haze lingered between her eyebrows. She also looked a little tired. Although her appearance was pleasing to the eye, she wasn't as beautiful as Tsin Kai-Xian. Moreover, her cultivation wasn't high, only at the early stage eternal realm. But these were secondary. The main thing was that Ning Cheng didn't know this female cultivator. Thinking that this scene was likely to be seen by others, Ning Cheng immediately became anxious in his heart. If someone saw Ji He meeting an acquaintance but didn't know her, it wouldn't be a good thing. Ning Qing quickly showed a faint smile. It's been a long time. Let's find a place to have a cup of spiritual tea. Seeing Ning Cheng's polite attitude, the female cultivator's eyes turned gloomy. She nodded and said, "Well, let's go to the Orchid Lake rest stop in front. The spiritual tea there is quite good." Okay. Ning Cheng followed the female cultivator and quickly turned into a rest stop on the side of the street. Only then did he feel slightly relieved. Since this person was Ji He's acquaintance, he decided to explain it to her slowly. After the two entered the rest stop, they found that the rest stop was indeed overcrowded. Not to mention private booths, even the tables in the hall were few and far between. "Big brother Ji He, let's sit over there." The female cultivator pointed to an empty seat in the corner of the hall. Ning Cheng bit his head and took the female cultivator to the rest stop's waiter. He directly grabbed a storage bag and put it in the waiter's hands. "My friend and I have some urgent matters to attend to. We need a private booth." The waiter's spiritual consciousness swept through the storage bag that Ning Cheng gave him. With a twist of his hand, the storage bag disappeared without a trace. He then spoke with a smile on his face, "Two guests, please come with me." After Ning Cheng and the female cultivator were led to one of the elegant private booths by the waiter, Ning Cheng secretly sighed in his heart, "This private booth is really the same as that ditch. Looks like when I go to the rest stop to find a room, I will have to use this method to squeeze in." After the waiter left, Ning Cheng activated the restrictions. But before he could speak, he heard the female cultivator speak out in a cold voice, "You're not Ji He. Who the hell are you, and why are you pretending to be Ji He?" Ning Cheng was startled. He had never encountered any problems since he pretended to be Ji He. Was this female cultivator Ji He's woman? Did he accidentally give himself away? At this moment, Ning Cheng even thought of silencing her. But the thought disappeared in a flash. He had used Ji He's identity to escape. If he wanted to kill Ji He's acquaintance, he would be worse than an animal. Not to mention killing someone in the Heaven Essence sacred city. Did he even want to live? Ning Cheng quickly explained everything about him and Qi Shixingsing, as well as Ji He. He had pretended to be Ji He to escape. After listening to Ning Cheng's words, the female cultivator gave out a faint sigh, and her eyes showed a hint of sadness. Something really happened to Big Brother Ji He. After that, she stood up and turned back to Ning Cheng. "You don't have to worry about it. I won't say anything about it." Ning Cheng felt a little worried that this female cultivator would say something about it. But when he heard her words, he said, "This junior apprentice sister, you seem to have something on your mind. Although I've never met Ji He, he is Shixingsing's friend, and I'm also Shixingsing's friend. Now, I have to use his identity. If you don't mind, you can tell me about your troubles. Maybe I can help you." When the female cultivator heard Ning Cheng's words, she hesitated for a long time. Not knowing what to say, her eyes lit up and said, "Then I'll tell you about it." After that, she sat down again. An hour later, Ning Cheng finally understood what was going on. This female cultivator's name was Xian Xiu, Ji He's junior apprentice sister. Ji He also had a junior apprentice brother named Wu Qihong. The three of them had a master named Di Shueibua, a tier 6 pill king. Among the three, Ji He had the strongest talent in alchemy. One time, Di Shueibua found a hidden divine herb garden. He took his 3 disciples into the divine herb garden, but he didn't expect to be discovered by others. While competing for the divine grasses, Di Shueibua and the other cultivator who tried to snatch them died together. Before Di Shueibua died, he gave his ring and all the divine grasses to Ji He. He asked Ji He to continue teaching and guiding his junior apprentice brother and junior apprentice sister. The divine grasses in the ring were to be divided equally among the 3 senior apprentice brother and junior apprentice sister, striving to become a pill emperor or even a pill deity as soon as possible. Unexpectedly, Ji He didn't listen to his master at all. Instead, he took a large number of divine grasses in the ring and left his junior apprentice brother and junior apprentice sister alone. Later, when Xian Xiu heard about Ji He, she learned that Ji He had already become a Tier 8 Pill Emperor of the Grand Essence Domain's Pill Union. After Ji He left, Wu Qihong and Xian Xiu slowly came together and became dependent on each other. This time, Wu Qihong suffered serious injuries, and Xian Xiu came here to help Wu Qihong ask for pills. She had inquired about Ji He and knew that Ji He was a Pill Emperor of the Pill Union and had also fallen in the Grand Essence Mystic Realm. Although Ji He had taken the divine grasses and left the sect, Xian Xiu still hoped that Ji He could save Wu Qihong when she saw Ji He by chance, which led to the beginning of the scene. When Ning Cheng heard this, he felt a little dumbfounded. Sure enough, everyone had a dark side in their heart. If he hadn't met Xian Xiu, how could he have thought that Ji He, who had always been patient, would be so selfish? From Xian Xiu's words, he even heard Xian Xiu's secret love for senior apprentice brother Ji He. After Ji He left with the divine grasses, she left with her junior apprentice brother Ji He. Seeing Ning Cheng in a daze, Xian Xiu spoke up, "In fact, junior apprentice brother Qihong and I didn't blame big brother Ji." Ning Cheng stood up, "Junior apprentice sister Xian Xiu, I'm also an alchemy master. If you don't mind, you can call me senior apprentice brother. Let's go, I'll go with you to see junior apprentice brother Qihong's injuries." Chapter 896. Ning Cheng had initially thought that Xian Xiu and Wu Qihong would live in the worst rest stop. But what he didn't expect was that Xian Xiu would take him directly to the largest rest stop in Heaven Essence Sacred City, the Star Stepping Tower. Xian Xiu and Wu Qihong not only lived in the Star Stepping Tower, but also in the most luxurious room in the Star Stepping Tower. This place consisted of 3 cultivation rooms, an artifact crafting room, an alchemy room, a pet room, and a luxurious reception hall. As soon as they entered the room, rich spirit qi wrapped around their bodies, making them feel comfortable all over. Ning Cheng knew about the prices in Heaven Essence Sacred City very well. How much did one have to pay to live in such a place? Ning Cheng looked at Xian Xiu and sighed. One really couldn't judge a person by their looks. Maybe it was because Xian Xiu was an alchemy master that she was so rich. But in a place like Heaven Essence Sacred City, how could an alchemy master like Xian Xiu earn spirit crystals? Xian Xiu obviously saw Ning Cheng's doubts. She showed a self-deprecating smile, "Junior apprentice brother Qihong and I have always had a hard time cultivating. Not to mention living in such a luxurious rest stop, even if we wanted to live in the most ordinary rest stop, we would have to think about it for a long time. Junior apprentice brother Qihong has been seriously injured for hundreds of years and is about to fall. Thinking about how we have been living in fear, I gritted my teeth and took out all my spirit crystals to live in the best room in the Star Stepping Tower." Ning Cheng could hear the bitterness in Xian Xiu's words. An early-stage eternal cultivator who mainly focused on alchemy had to take care of a wounded person to survive in the Grand Essence domain. It naturally wasn't easy. "Take me to see junior apprentice brother Qihong." Ning Cheng didn't ask much and just said to Xian Xiu. Xian Xiu took Ning Cheng to Wu Qihong's room, and Ning Cheng saw Ji He's junior apprentice brother. At this time, Wu Qihong was sleeping on the bed with his eyes closed. He didn't even breathe. If Ning Cheng hadn't felt a trace of aura from him, he would have thought that he was a dead man. Wu Qihong's face was black and bony, even thinner than Qi Shixingsing, who had just restored his corporeal body. Ning Cheng was a Tao sculpting pill deity with an extremely powerful spiritual consciousness and cultivated a spiritual consciousness cultivation method. When he saw Wu Qihong's appearance, he immediately understood that Wu Qihong's sea of consciousness had shattered and that his vitality was about to dissipate. Not only that, but even his primordial spirit began to weaken. Ning Cheng estimated that Wu Qihong would only be able to hold on for a few more days if he didn't try to save him. Xian Xiu kept looking at Ning Cheng's face, and when she saw Ning Qing frown, she couldn't help but sigh in her heart. Although she was holding on to the possibility, but she also knew what Ning Cheng's frown represented. "Big brother, I know about Qi Hong's injuries." If you didn't, Ning Cheng knew what Xian Xiu wanted to say, so he interrupted Xian Xiu's words. "Saving your junior apprentice brother is very troublesome, but it does not mean that it is impossible to save him." Not waiting for Ning Cheng to finish, Xian Xiu showed an incomparably happy expression, even her voice trembled a little. "Big brother, did you say that my junior apprentice brother can be saved?" Ning Cheng spoke up in an apologetic tone. "I only said that it is possible. I can temporarily keep him alive for a month, but within a month, if I cannot come up with a way to save him, then I will be powerless." "Oh right, you should still call me Senior Brother Kuei in the future to avoid suspicion. The person I offended is very powerful." The reason why he said those words was that Ning Cheng could refine the Extreme Purging Wood Essence pill. The Extreme Purging Wood Essence pill's grade wasn't high, just a grade 9 Starry Sky medicinal pill. This medicinal pill could prolong and increase a cultivator's vitality, which was suitable for Wu Qihong. More importantly, Ning Cheng had the main spiritual object needed to refine the Extreme Purging Wood Essence pill, the Wood Origin Qi from the Wood Origin Crystal. The Extreme Purging Wood Essence pill could keep Wu Qihong's vitality for a month. But Ning Cheng was about to open Pill Sage Min Kong's bracelet. Pill Sage Min Kong was a top-grade pill sage. After opening his bracelet, who could be sure that there was no way to repair one's sea of consciousness? "Big brother Kuei, whether Qihong can survive or not, I will always remember Big brother's life-saving grace." Xian Xiu almost bowed to the ground. She still addressed Ning Cheng as Big brother Kuei and not as senior brother. "I'm going to refine the pill immediately. After I refine the Extreme Purging Wood Essence pill, quickly give it to junior apprentice brother Qihong." Ning Cheng let Xian Xiu get up and said. Xian Xiu stared at Ning Cheng with wide eyes and said in disbelief, "Big brother Kuei, are you a grade 9 pill emperor?" Ning Cheng nodded with a smile. In fact, he had already advanced to the Dao sculpting pill deity realm while studying artifact crafting. "Ah. No." Xian Xiu seemed to have suddenly thought of something and called out again, "The rent I paid here is due in 1 day, but..." Ning Cheng looked at Xian Xiu's expression and understood that Xian Xiu didn't have any spirit crystals on her. Since they finally found a place to live, Ning Cheng naturally wouldn't let Xian Xiu move away. He quickly asked, "How many spirit crystals a day?" 10,000 high-grade spirit crystals. Xian Xiu hesitated. She thought that her junior apprentice brother would die, which was why she decided to live in such a good place before her junior apprentice brother died. Deep in her heart, she also had the thought of living in a place rich in spirit qi. Maybe her junior apprentice brother's life force would suddenly shine. After living here for more than half a year, she had used up all the spirit crystals she had accumulated over the years. Ning Cheng couldn't help but feel that it was expensive. 10,000 high-grade spirit crystals a day. If he hadn't robbed the 9th prince's follower, he would only have enough spirit crystals to live here for a few months. "Don't worry about it." Ning Cheng took out a storage bag and said, "You can go down and renew the rent for 2 months. You can keep the rest of the spirit crystals." Ning Cheng had nearly 10 million high-grade spirit crystals on him, and this storage bag contained 1 million high-grade spirit crystals. Even if he rented it for 2 months, he would still have to pay 400,000 more. Xian Xiu didn't remain polite. At this time, politeness was useless. Her junior apprentice brother's life was the most important thing. After Xian Xiu went down to renew the rent, Ning Cheng directly started refining pills in Wu Qihong's room. In just an incense stick worth of time, Ning Cheng finished refining a furnace of extreme purging wood essence pills. Putting away the pill furnace, Ning Cheng took out an extreme purging wood essence pill and put it into Wu Qihong's mouth. A rich life force instantly radiated from Wu Qihong's body. Although he hadn't opened his eyes, Wu Qihong's originally lifeless body now had a lot more life force. Ning Cheng felt very satisfied. This extreme purging wood essence pill could definitely extend Wu Qihong's life force for 1 to 2 months. If he couldn't find a way to save Wu Qihong after such a long time, then Wu Qihong would have no choice but to accept his fate. Walking out of Wu Qihong's room, Ning Cheng felt that something was wrong. Xin Xiu had just gone down to renew a room, so why hadn't she come back up after such a long time? Just as he thought about it, Xin Xiu came up. There was a red mark on her face, indicating that someone had slapped her. "What's going on?" Ning Cheng asked. Xin Xiu shook her head and handed over the storage bag given to her by Ning Cheng. "They don't want to renew the lease. They said that this place has already been rented to someone else. We will move out in a day." Ning Cheng sneered and didn't take the storage bag from Xin Xiu. Instead, he said to Xin Xiu, "You come down with me." It wasn't the first time Ning Cheng had stayed in a rest stop or an immortal cave. Therefore, he also knew some of the rules. As long as the guest doesn't owe rent, doesn't take the initiative to leave, and doesn't cause any loss to the inn. Everyone knew that the inn didn't have the right to chase away the guests. Now that Xin Xiu wanted to leave, it was obvious that she was easy to bully. At this time, the rest stop was at its most crowded. Therefore, the purpose of driving away Xin Xiu was obvious. There were a lot of people in the lobby of the rest stop, and there were 2 cultivators laughing in front of the rental counter. "What's wrong, are you going to check out now?" A shop assistant behind the counter saw Xin Xiu coming over and spoke with a disdainful tone. Xin Xiu didn't speak, but Ning Cheng walked over and asked in a warm tone, "Excuse me, are there any rules about the room rental in this rest stop? Are you blind? Isn't it?" When the shop assistant saw Ning Cheng and Xin Xiu coming over together, he thought that Ning Cheng wanted to defend Xin Xiu. But now that he saw Ning Cheng's respectful tone, how could he remain polite? He had a lot of experience dealing with rogue cultivators without any confidence. He had to be strong and let the other party know that they couldn't afford to offend him. Ning Cheng's gaze fell on the rules, and in just a few breaths, he had already read through the hundreds of rules. Then he looked at the shop assistant with a smile and asked, "Excuse me, did you hit my junior apprentice sister just now?" "Yes, it was Grandpa who hit." Before the shop assistant could finish his words, he felt his entire body stagnate, and then his body stiffened. When he saw that Ning Cheng had bound him with his domain and grabbed him by the neck, he immediately panicked. Not waiting for the shop assistant to beg for mercy, Ning Cheng's illusory celestial essence palm print landed on the shop assistant's face. Slap 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 slap. With just a dozen slaps, the shop assistant's face started to bleed. However, not a single drop of blood or tooth spilled out. Instead, it dripped down the shop assistant's chin like water droplets. "Stop!" An angry voice arrived, followed by a more powerful domain suppressing Ning Cheng's body. Ning Cheng opened his hand and threw the shop assistant to the corner of the counter. Only then did he calmly turn around. The one who came over was a middle-aged male cultivator with a tall stature and slender eyes. He hadn't even walked over when a powerful domain's imposing aura descended. However, he didn't start immediately. Instead, he stared at Ning Cheng and said, "Who is this thou friend? Why are you beating my star-stepping tower's shop assistant here?" Although this middle-aged male cultivator hadn't started, his murderous aura had already spread out, causing the surrounding cultivators to give way. Everyone understood what this middle-aged male cultivator meant. That is, after Ning Cheng finished answering, he would immediately take him down. Or rather, this middle-aged male cultivator was also waiting for Ning Cheng to reveal his backing. Anyone who dared to beat people in this place most likely had some backing. Heaven Essence Sacred City didn't allow killing, but it was established under certain conditions. Since Ning Cheng beat up a shop assistant in Heaven Essence's premier rest stop like this, even if he killed him on the spot, it wouldn't be a problem. Ning Cheng cupped his fists towards this middle-aged male cultivator and said, "This shop assistant asked me to hit him, so I did it." "You're talking nonsense. There are so many people here, when did I ask you to hit me?" The shop assistant's face looked like a rag, but he didn't suffer any serious injuries. Therefore, after hearing Ning Cheng's words, he immediately stood up and yelled at him. "You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure."